Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Children suck.
No, they don't.
Oh, boy. I had to reply to that, but that would get us in trouble.
That was some dead air.
Well,
Well,
YouTube is surprisingly good tonight. There's only like less than 2-second lag.
well, if preachers are involved.
So, Perp, welcome home. Tell us about your trip.
Yeah, it's a very long drive. I don't care for the driving part, but it was good to be there and spend some time with Diana.
Oh, how's she doing?
She's doing well. She did the traditional, turkey and potatoes and squash for Thanksgiving dinner for us. It was a really good turkey, and actually we wound up just the two of us finishing off the whole turkey after 3 days. I couldn't find anything left to carve off of the carcass.
Wow.
So then she went and threw it in the stock pot to make soup later.
Yum.
So you each ate about 10 pounds of turkey, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the weight of it was to start with, but it worked out well because she prefers the dark meat, and I like the breast meat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have to argue with you. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It didn't need to be Christmas. It could have been taking place at any time of the year.
But It didn't. It took place at Christmas.
It uses Christmas throughout the entire movie. In fact, even the character he's saving, Holly, is named in that because of it being Christmas. And the main villain also references Christmas.
Yeah, but it's not really central to the plot.
And they put Christmas music on in the soundtrack.
They didn't mention Halloween. They didn't mention Easter. They didn't mention Labor Day. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh, and it snows at the end.
There, see?
If snow makes it a Christmas movie, then any movie in Minnesota between October and March is a Christmas movie.
Like Fargo.
I watched a documentary on the Donner Party. Was that a Christmas movie?
Well, they didn't eat turkey, but yeah, I guess.
Well, the thing about it snowing is it hadn't snowed in Los Angeles since 1962 at the time. So that was a very Christmassy thing.
Okay, well, I was almost in a Christmas movie at one point.
In 1815, Tambora erupted, and the year after that was known as the year without a summer. Also, my feet is being viciously attacked.
I have Kitty laying on my leg, which I know is pretty much always, but since I was gone a week, Kitty has become feeling that he needs to be in physical contact with me and panicking every time I go upstairs to check on the girls.
Well, cats do have separation anxiety.
Oh, and one last argument for why it's a Christmas movie. People watch it on Christmas. As of 2016, Dish Network reported 1.3 million watched it on Christmas Eve.
I watch Army of Darkness on New Year's Eve. That doesn't mean it's a New Year's Eve movie.
It's a matter of the number of people who got it. In fact,
it is the kind of holiday that has movies.
In fact, it outpaced these other actual ones that are considered the Christmas movies, such as Miracle on 34th Street. And the Santa Claus.
That's because every year it gets several months of free publicity with people arguing about it being a Christmas movie.
I like Miracle on 34th Street. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
I actually quite enjoyed the Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever.
Never saw that. My favorite classic Christmas movie is the musical version Scrooge with Albert Finney.
I'm afraid I have to be a cliche and say the Peanuts Christmas special.
Okay, what has 634 airings, 15 actors, 2 people in a love interest, and 1 plot?
Don't know.
All the Hallmark Christmas movies.
Ah,
Okay,
I was about to
you
try to
counted
make
all
a
the
joke about a
earrings.
gangbang.
well, like that Grumpy Cat is actually a Hallmark Christmas show.
There's
Another
a
one.
there's a cable channel that is all Hallmark all the time.
Yeah, it's called the Hallmark Movie Channel.
Yeah, that's it.
I hear they did the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I'm gonna have to see that. I hear it's good.
Well, they did Star Wars
did have-
holiday special, and nobody wants to admit that happened.
But they also did a Lego one.
I saw that one, Mage. They decorated Groot and they ate the raccoon.
Oh.
Hey, if it involves eliminating the raccoon, I'm for that.
No, I would say that the holiday special for Star Wars is better than the sequel trilogy.
Raccoon was the best character. What are you talking about?
Rocket.
Hey, something with the intelligence of a human and the ethics of a raccoon is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, well, get used to it. We're designing those already.
Yeah, I just want to see a movie where it's just Rocket and the Hulk going at it.
Rocket.
Shouldn't that be
Qualify
Rocket?
what you mean by going at it.
Just imagine the destruction with Raccoon and the Hulk fighting.
I'd rather see Rocket and the new one, the She-Hulk. They could make a wonderful bedroom scene, I think.
I don't want to see that.
No, She-Hulk only wants to smash Matt Murdock. That's who she's into.
That was terrible
Let's
how they
stick to
did
canon,
that.
No, she needs to represent Rocket in like a.
I haven't seen any of the TV shows, so I only know the She-Hulk from the comics back in
Oh,
the 80s and
She-Hulk
90s.
is such a good show.
No, it's not.
It's so good.
It wasn't a terrible show. It wasn't great either.
Explain the
I'm sticking
ending.
with what I said. It's a good show. I like it.
Explain the ending.
The ending is just her rewriting the.
I'm not gonna explain the ending because I want people to be able to watch it themselves without prejudice. I can speak. Everybody, English is my first language. Prejudice is the word.
Yeah.
See, it's funny because the whole joke there is that I obviously can't speak English, but let's move on.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna crack my neck loudly.
No entiendo beam.
Speak American, damn it.
I did.
Well, we got Dick Dawson and Commander 401 in the chat. See. What else? Do we have anyone else around here? I guess not.
Oh, and
I mean, I'm in here, so
I sent out links to both of them, so they should be in here instead of in the chat, but I don't know. I know I took 2 Wednesdays off in a row. I hope people aren't that confused about
It doesn't take much to get rid of your audience.
Oh.
not that I had a big audience to begin with, and again, I've been losing subscribers on YouTube. I don't know why.
Could just be a bot purge. That happens every once in a while.
Well, but it hasn't happened all at once. It's been like a couple of weeks that I was
Yeah.
up to 565 and now I'm down to 540.
Big deal. That's only 5%. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I've been doing this for 5 years and I still haven't made it up to 1,000.
Well,
Which reminds me, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Got to put
Or-
together something that's monumental or highly controversial.
Yeah, I've been told by other people that the secret to a successful channel is actually putting out some effort once in a while.
Yeah.
it's not-
Having us idiots in here just gabbing and bullshitting, that's not that interesting to anybody who doesn't know you.
I
It's-
have been very clear that I am running this channel with as minimal effort as possible for there to still be weekly content.
Well, you also have to
Sorry, Porpoise. Go ahead.
either do something people are interested in or generate controversy. And
Or both.
or both.
Yeah, the controversy is a problem because I do everything I can to avoid drama.
Congratulations, Purple. You are not in high school.
Yeah, I didn't like being in high school when I was in high school.
Yeah, no one did.
I'm fairly certain I have PTSD from high school.
Yeah, well, they sent me an invitation for my high school's 40th anniversary, and I was like, if there were only 3 people that I was interested in talking to when I was there, why would I go back?
Yeah.
Listen, I've been in a high school almost every day, and I don't see anything as vicious as some of the things that go on YouTube.
Yeah, and Twitter battles. Okay, so let's go around for everybody here. I know some people didn't answer. What's your favorite Christmas movies?
Hmm.
I think other than the Albert Finney version, I think probably my second favorite is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
That's a pretty good one.
Favorites. It's hard to say as which one's favorite.
Well, just pick anything that at least makes it into your top 10. You don't have to necessarily rank them all precisely.
Well, Miracle on 34th Street would probably be one.
My favorite would be Behind the Green Door.
A
Okay.
Christmas Story.
Depends on how
You know, everybody raves about that one, and I think it's just kind of meh.
And How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Not the Jim Carrey version.
Yeah, the original
Okay.
animated
Yeah.
one, yes.
I'm trying to think of some of the names. Well, some of the Scrooge movies are pretty good. There are several.
Yeah, there are so many versions of that. It is interesting that from Disney doing that Uncle Scrooge became a regular character, that then went on to star in DuckTales and several other shows.
Yeah.
DuckTales was fantastic. I loved that shit when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I loved the original one. I've only seen a couple episodes of the reboot, and while in general I hate reboots, that one looks like it has potential.
Uncle Scrooge is in a lot of old 40s propaganda videos, though, too.
Well, yeah, but while World War II was going on, that happened. I mean, that's the whole thing that Dr. Seuss produced some really pretty racist cartoons, mostly depicting the Japanese, because he was specifically hired by the War Department to do that.
As much as I love World War II propaganda, he wasn't the only one that was producing some racist stuff. Popeye, I think, was the worst.
Yeah. I
Warner
never
Brothers
liked
had.
Popeye as a kid. Not at all.
I never liked that character. Warner Brothers was pretty bad. And Disney was atrocious.
Well, yeah, I kind of wonder, Disney himself Walt Disney was such an anti-Semite that I would not be surprised if at least early on he was supporting the Nazis.
you guys go and you You disparage all these people that you have no fucking idea about their history or what they ever said or what they ever did. And to say something that crude about Walt Disney or anybody in America is just wrong as fuck.
You are assuming I know nothing about his history. History is a subject I study.
I didn't say anything about Walt Disney, but I have seen the old cartoons. They are pretty racist.
Well, they're very racist.
And I do recall Popeye being the worst.
Well, although actually that's something that, gives me hope for our society. That we can look back on these things from 50 years ago and say that that was messed up, and most people will agree.
Unless you're Kanye West.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Oh, jeez.
I think Kanye's pretty much flushed his toilet and found out that he's the toilet.
And yet there are people who will still vote for him.
I think Kanye West actually has managed to unfortunately help himself with this anti-Semitic, pro-Nazi Holocaust denial bullshit. Honestly, with the Republican Party the way it is, I think he helped himself with this Alex Jones interview.
Yeah, but if you find yourself to the right of Alex Jones, you really need to evaluate some of your life choices.
I'm not saying he gave himself a chance to win an election. He definitely has no chance of winning. But he will have more than 60,000 votes this time.
Yeah, and Telltale had a very interesting and I think accurate observation of the Republican Party right now. That a candidate in the Republican Party can't win a primary without Trump's endorsement. But none of them can win a general election with Trump's endorsement.
Yeah. Well, which is why they snarf his derb until the primary's over and then suddenly distance themselves.
I just hope,
Unless you're Gilbert or Herschel Walker.
I just hope Ron DeSantis and Trump split the vote between them.
I hope they do too, because
That's what I'm hoping
it's going to
for.
be so hard to vote for Biden again.
Hey, Randy. Yeah, I am very much hoping that when he doesn't get the Republican nomination, that Trump will go off and start his own MAGA party and take 30% of the Republican base with him.
But I honestly don't see any Trump-started party lasting beyond his death, though.
Oh, no, it won't. It may not last beyond one election cycle, but it will suck off enough votes from the Republicans that whoever the Democrats put up will win.
It may not last him being convicted and thrown in prison.
If only he would. People have been saying Trump's going to prison for the last, 3 or 4 years, and nothing's come of it. I have precisely no faith whatsoever it'll happen.
Okay, but they are finally getting to examine his tax records.
Yeah, finally.
And remember, the IRS was the only ones who managed to put Al Capone away. So when they are comparing Trump's tax records of what he claimed on taxes his properties were worth to the bank applications, what he claimed the same properties were worth when applying for loans, that constitutes tax fraud. That's tax evasion for undervaluing his properties.
If he does go to prison, though, it's going to be a cushy one, which actually isn't any kind of punishment. It's not going to be, as was coined in the movie Office Space, a federal pound-me-in-the-ass prison. He's going to go to some cushy prison where he gets to play golf.
Club Fed.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that he can't be sentenced to live in his own lowest rent property.
I think most likely, given with the stuff he did that's treasonous, if he's convicted, which I'm still not sure, he'd be placed under house arrest.
Oh, how terrible. How be forced to stay in Mar-a-Lago.
Well, you did hear about the Oath Keepers guy.
Yeah, well, that guy, he's not uber rich.
No, I was just the fact that he got convicted, that we now have a court who definitely says that the November 6th thing was all pre-planned.
Yeah.
He guaranteed his own conviction. He testified in his own behalf. He thought that he could fool the jury. And if you look at some of the videos and stuff, or tapes and reporting that from the trial, he kept looking at the jury like he's the brilliant lawyer. He is a lawyer, by the way, just disbarred. And basically saying, well, I'm smarter than you guys, so. And juries don't like that shit.
Yeah, I loved finding out the part that he wears the eye patch because he shot himself in the face with his own gun.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's a damn shame he blew the shot.
Yeah, apparently he also waited too long to have it looked at, and the eye got infected and they had to remove it.
See.
Hey, Doorknobhead and Carol.
Okay, well, I have to go be Miss Porpoise again tomorrow. So I will see you later. Have a good show, everyone.
Later.
Okay,
Hey,
good night.
Bye-bye.
Be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Wow, so many different things got mixed together. I don't know where to go.
Well, I was watching, Wednesday, that series on
Nope.
Netflix.
Haven't seen it yet. Please don't spoil.
I'm not gonna spoil. I was just gonna say, hey, it's good.
Okay.
What show is that?
Wednesday.
The show about Wednesday?
Yeah, it's based on the Addams Family character Wednesday.
Oh, I see.
I saw a couple people posting on Twitter about it. That was the first I'd ever heard of it.
I was gonna give it a pass because the premise sounded kind of tone deaf to me, but I'm actually surprised so far.
I've been watching The Orville
Oh.
because everybody talked about that so much.
Oh God, I need to catch up on Orville.
Okay, it's a good show. The way people raved about it, I guess, set my expectations too high because it's basically classic Star Trek, except they have CGI and a better budget.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
basically Star
okay,
Trek.
blame that on Kate.
You can blame that on me too.
Yeah,
But I've been saying it was basically straight up TOS Star Trek. So.
Yeah, just I'm disappointed in the writing, and mostly, the actors are great; they portray the characters well, but some of the writing doesn't make sense. I'm finding too many plot holes.
It gets better later on. What kind of plot holes have you found so far?
Well, I'm up to season 3. The one I watched last night was the episode that Gordy went back in time.
Ah, that one is a bit confusing.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, kids. How you doing?
Hey.
Good to see you home and safe and sound.
How are you doing there, Diana?
Oh, we're getting there slow but sure. Still haven't set up the damn Christmas tree, but we'll get there. And then the little one is being annoying.
Been a bit concerned about you. Haven't seen you do your live streams lately.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling too well. I threw up a couple times today. I don't know what's going on. If I've got a flu or something, I don't know. I spent most of the day asleep.
What a way to spend the day, though.
Actually, it's not all that bad. It's
I mean, I've
nice
slept
and warm.
entire weekends and it was great.
And I've been pretty much down and out today myself. So
Let me get a nightgown on. I'll turn my camera on.
You know, it's ridiculous because after the 18-hour trip and everything, I should have been able to fall asleep at a reasonable time last night. But no, I couldn't fall asleep until sunrise.
yeah, my arthritis decided to flare up a little bit last night, so my shoulder was bothering me.
Oh,
It was keeping me up, so I ended up not really getting much sleep.
I fell asleep at dialysis the last 2 times, today and Tuesday. And what was I'm the talk of the town over there now because I got startled awake by a really weird dream where I dreamt I was falling forward and I cried out in surprise. Scared the hell out of everybody. All right, where is? Gotta find the sleeve of my nightgown. There we are.
That's good.
It was very reassuring that as I cycled through the times I waked up, I could, feel the weight of a cat on my leg again.
Yay!
Yeah, it was actually more difficult to sleep at Diana's because I did not have a cat on my leg.
I can understand, but yay for the familiar.
Yeah, Sammy's got to be in constant contact with me now, and he'll probably be like this for a couple of weeks until he gets reassured that I'm not going to be gone very long anymore.
Okay.
And then just when he gets used to that, then we'll be taking another trip. Minnow's planning a gala for New Year's weekend, which I would love to go to, and it would be the chance to, meet some people that I will never otherwise get a chance to meet. But at the same time, on the weekend immediately after will be Little Christmas, when my sister will be doing her Christmas thing, and Sloth Girl definitely wants to go back up to Michigan for that. So,
did you say that your sister does the Christmas thing on like January 6th or something like that?
Yep, she does it Little Christmas, the Epiphany on January 6th.
Okay. I haven't been around anybody in a long time who celebrates the Epiphany.
Hey, Stool.
Oh, God, there goes the neighborhood.
Supposedly the Epiphany is supposed to be the day that the 3 wise men arrived.
Yeah.
Who said
Although I've also been told by people studying the Bible that it took the wise men 3 years to do their journey. So basically the baby Jesus would have been a toddler by the time they showed up.
I'm trying to remember if there is something in Scripture that does refer to that. I'm thinking there is, but I can't remember. It would be in the decree that Herod issued of which children to kill.
Yeah, I'm thinking that there's more about it in some of the Jewish scripture that got left out of the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know specifically, but again, that's when I was reading the Bible, most of the people I discussed it with had read it in Hebrew.
I wonder how they arrived at the day. How did they decide that they were going to celebrate this on the 6th of January?
Oh, that's completely stolen from the Roman festival of Saturnalia.
Oh, I thought Saturnalia was closer to Christmas. Okay.
Well, no, that's Saturnalia was, around the Yule. It was around Christmas.
Okay.
According to the Bible, Jesus was born in the early spring.
Yes. The shepherds are keeping watch.
Really, it would make a lot more sense if they had swapped Christmas and Easter, have him born in the spring and have him die in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot more sense, and it would have followed the Bible a lot better.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'm gonna finish recording another video and get to bed, but it was good being on here.
Yeah, I saw you had another beer review up. I haven't looked at that one yet.
Yeah, I'm recording another one. It's just I'm also bone tired and
You sound
I
pretty
didn't
worn
want
out.
to properly finish this review either.
But also saw that you got some of your kittens adopted out.
Yeah, fortunately. Like I love them, but there's just not enough space.
Oh, a house full of kittens
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, you had rather a lot of animals in there.
Yeah.
Just out of curiousness, how many kittens did you end up with?
Honey, how many do we have now?
Right now, counting Mama, I think we have 11 or 12, but there was a point where we had almost 20.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nerve-wracking.
You guys have heard of spaying and neutering?
Oh, we take in
It's
rescues.
expensive.
We take in rescues too.
Yeah, we take in strays, rescues, and spaying
Yeah.
and neutering is expensive, sadly.
That's the problem when you're taking in strays and the rescues and you can't afford the vet.
Yeah, because I mean, even the cheap places aren't free.
Mm-hmm.
I still have to do something with the little one over here.
Okay, Diana,
Yes, dear.
in the side chat, they're having an argument about do you spell your name with one N or two?
One.
Babies,
Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for having
Take
me
care,
on.
honey. Take care, Alex.
Yeah, anytime. We'd love to have you in here.
Take
See you
care,
later.
Bob.
Later.
I hope you aren't as horny next time.
Horny. That's
What?
okay. I'll cop to it.
I ask no questions.
See you later, everybody.
Okay,
Okay.
hon. You
Good
be
night.
good. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Yeah, I did bring up another screen here. Let's get the site. Let's get the YouTube going over here, and then we'll see what we can do. Oh, boy.
So, if any of you seen the newest D Marble offering,
Oh, boy. Hey, what? Who? Where?
the Flat Earther D Marble, his latest offering?
Never even
Yeah.
heard of him.
I've only seen the thumbnail so far. I didn't get to watch it.
Well, he's put together a little video where he shares with everybody the video that was released, and well, the article that releases the video of a guy on his deathbed who's confessing that he filmed the moon landing. And then of course when you get to the article and they got a picture of this guy in a deathbed, and you find out that the guy who made the video of today, it was his father who made the confession, but on tape and stuff. But around 2002, 3, 4, something like that, there was a mysterious fire and it was lost. So he's remaking this video based on what his father told him.
Oh, for the love of St. Gulick.
Yeah. And D Marvel's sitting there saying, well, we've been saying this for a long time, You actually buy this? So I decided I would put the kibosh on it right away, and I took the picture from the article of the guy in his deathbed, and I did a image search, and in about 2 minutes of total effort, we came up with the picture before it was edited, except on that caption it said he was a CIA guy.
Oh, Lord.
Well, a friend of a friend's cousin in second remove said.
Well, I know they could give me the same sort of crap, but I personally know people who were involved in that shit. You're talking about my friends here. They don't exist.
Yeah, I got a real lesson about, how legends happen when I was in the pagan community. Because there were a couple of stories that I started telling that came back around to me years later with people claiming, swearing up and down that they knew someone who was an eyewitness to a story I had made up.
Oh, my.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I got quite a lesson in how those things get started. And, You know,
Isn't there
how
a
a
name
legend
for
could
that?
just get blown out of proportion and everybody thinks it's a true story.
Jimmy Kimmel has a whole bit that he does for his monologue. They call it lie witness news.
I like it.
And they go out onto the street and they ask people if how you feel about this and this and this and this such thing. That, you know, just brushes maybe a current news story, like maybe during the Olympics it would be something about the Olympics, you know, controversy, or during the election it'll be about a certain politician. But the rest of it is a complete lie. And how do you feel about that? And people, oh, I absolutely support them. And that's blah 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 blah. You know, and they just go on, admitting that all these things they know about whatever they're talking about that never happened.
Yeah.
No, no, Kitty is not hungry. Kitty, he wants to put on the 70s porn music.
Oh, let's see, where are we here?
Well, it's a good thing I'm wearing my headset, because if I wasn't and Sammy was hearing that, he'd be trying to crawl into the monitor.
Oh, okay. I got my headset in now, so we're gonna protect Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy has been seriously crushing on Sylvia for at least 3 or 4 years.
You got a secret boyfriend there, Sylvia.
Well, I think you should get them together and let them fuck.
So Sammy's neutered, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I do need to get her taken care of. I'll have to
Yeah.
call. There's the one place where I used to live. It's not that difficult to get to. Just call up an Uber and then sit in the Target that we went to. Sit there for the day while she's getting taken care of.
Yeah.
I just have to see that they're taking new patients. That's basically what I have to do.
Yeah, the shelter that I got Sammy from in Michigan, you know, they spay and neuter all the animals they have there, so basically anyone adopting there, it's already done. And that's
Okay,
just,
then.
you know, the vet charge for that is just basically what the adoption fee is paying for.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we want to be as good as we can to you, and I know I haven't done that good so far, but I try. I really do. Oh Lord. It would be nice.
Doorknob had you might do better if instead of saying it was a river, that you were visiting a particular beach in British Columbia, because there's something about the ocean currents and such. I think they were saying that close to a dozen times a year they have a foot wash ashore, you know, a shoe wash ashore with a foot still in it.
Oh jeez.
That people who died out on the ocean, for some reason, they keep getting washed up on that beach, you know, and because sneakers are relatively buoyant, that one part manages to make it to shore.
And sharks have all joined the union and sworn off the feet. So
there you go.
Well, human feet are gross. So
there is a name for that current, and I can't remember what it is. It's a lot like the Gulf Stream. And then you are knocking everything off the desk.
Well, you know, of course they don't eat feet. I mean, it's bitter.
Well, I think the sharks just don't want to eat the shoes because it's all synthetic material.
Oh, they'll eat synthetic material, no problem. But you know, it's the bitter taste of defeat.
How would you know what feet taste like?
Yeah, no.
You didn't catch it, did you?
No, I guess not. I'm slow on the uptake. The bitter taste of the feet, huh?
Of defeat.
Tu state vetrata da Yucare.
I should go set myself in the corner now.
That was an agonizing attempt at a joke.
It's just out there, so.
It is a joke worthy of Sloth Girl, so.
Okay then.
But yeah, she was feeling pretty wiped out today, so I don't think she's even listening in now. Well, you know, that's when she had the chemo on Tuesday. they gave her some steroids.
Oh man,
You know,
a
so then
double hit.
yeah. Well, then it takes about 2 days, and the steroids wear out, and then she's just totally wiped.
Oh, boo-foo. What are you up to, little one?
Oh, yep. Do I? Okay, yep.
But the carcass that I tried to turn into soup came out kind of weak, but I've still eaten some.
Yeah, throw some veggies, you'll be good.
Oh, yeah. The carcass stock didn't come out well.
Nah, it came out kind of weak.
I suppose you go throw a bouillon cube in there.
Yeah, I'll come up with something like that. I've got some bouillon, and I have boxes of broth, so I can put some of that stuff in there. Even the broth is stronger than the soup, but it's okay. It works. Oh, where do I put this stuff? Because she's getting all over the stuff on the desk.
That reminds me, I still have to do a pot of rice tonight. I promised Sloth Girl I'd do my fried rice over the weekend. It's always best if you do the rice and let it sit in the fridge for a day or two.
Right.
I was going to make mac and cheese, but unfortunately I couldn't find a sponge to clean the casserole dish off in.
Yeah, what the heck? I was going to do something food related, and I forget what it was. Oh, well.
Eat?
Well, I've done some of that earlier.
Okay.
Trying to eat a little less, though. Eat less and drink less. Because I was something like 20 pounds over my so-called dry weight, which is the weight I try to maintain. And then that extra 20 pounds is fluid, which is way too much. So I'm working on bringing my fluid weight down. I can bring it down by about 2 pounds per session. So
yeah,
hopefully I'll be at a reasonable weight by Christmas.
But getting dehydrated can also cause serious health issues.
Yes, it can. And I was not feeling too well earlier because I was severely dehydrated. Oh Lord. You could see the wrinkles in my abdomen from because I had lost 20 pounds when I was in hospital. Yeah, doorknob.
Nah, doorknob. I think that's pretty typical of most people, huh?
Only once or twice did I manage an orgasm during a dream. It would usually wake me up.
Yeah, I've never had it happen during a dream. I've always woken up before it got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, usually your partner wakes you up by that time, but...
What is this partner of which you speak?
I know it's an archaic concept. I really haven't used it myself in the past 8 years, but...
Because I've been flying solo since 2009, and I actually rather like it.
Yeah. Then again, I suppose if I average it out as far as the times that I had multiple partners against the times I've done it alone, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple of high points there that you really would take quite a bit to average it out when I've, been with more than a dozen people in one night.
Woo. That would wear me out.
Okay, that shut everybody down though.
I thought about that sort of thing, and I really don't think I could do the poly thing because I admit to being rather insecure.
Well, okay, poly is a relationship thing. You know, just having random sex with a dozen people is not poly.
Right. No, but you did remind me of the
Yeah.
actual relationship with more than one person simultaneously.
Yeah.
No, the random sex, I've done that a couple times, and I don't know. I didn't find anything. What's the word I'm looking for? Especially good about that. I'm kind of a one-on-one person.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I can't really do monogamy. You know, and part of that. Well, part of it's just that it's really kind of scary for me if somebody is like depending on me for emotional support every single day, because there are days when I can barely hold myself together, let alone help somebody else out.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in a poly situation, at least you kind of have a backup.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I see where you're saying that.
Well, for me, helping to hold somebody else together usually helps me hold myself together.
Yeah, it depends on the reason I'm coming apart on the particular day.
But for the longest time, I was given to I guess codependency, which was really not good.
Yeah.
And what's really nice is that from about age 60 or so, finally fell into a mental state or situation, whatever you want to call it, where I discovered that I liked flying solo, that I liked being alone.
Yeah.
And it's just too bad I didn't do this earlier. I might have avoided a lot of problems.
Yeah, well, it is something that before they would start me on HRT, the doctor kept stressing over and over that it would be a reduced sex drive.
Yeah.
And I was telling him that for me that would be a relief, and it was. That now after a year and a half on HRT, I think that my sex drive is about down to the level that would be considered normal for a woman in her 20s.
Okay. Oh man, I don't know which was the greater influence, or just maybe they work together, but between age and HRT, my sex drive is dead. Which is okay. I really don't miss it that much. I mean,
yeah.
I do notice that it's not there, and I am somewhat wistful every now and then, but I'm not destroyed.
Yeah, well, it's another thing that I've been reflecting on, that if I could have transitioned when I was much younger, not having such a high sex drive, yeah, it did bring me to doing some risky things. So there are a number of mistakes I probably would have avoided if I wasn't like feeling the constant urge to pursue that.
Oh my.
Then there's the cat.
Meow. Right now, she'd fuck anything with a pulse.
How often does she go through that? It seems to be more than once a year for her.
Yeah, I think it's about 2.5 times a year.
Okay.
Seen more than that.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to mark it on a calendar.
Yeah.
Because she just went into heat last night. And then we can see when she goes next.
Yeah, I think that kind of explains her behavior was starting to change the last couple of days I was there, that she was being much more energetic.
Uh-huh. And maybe that's why she was getting friendly too.
Yeah, well, she was fluctuating so much between being friendly and running away. Hey, Tammy.
Yeah.
I definitely. I'm gonna wait till after New Year's because I got more travel plans coming. But I definitely feel I need to go to the shelter and find a companion for Sammy.
I wish it could be easier for me to go to a shelter and find a companion for Sylvia, but I'm not sure how much stuff I'd have to go through with the landlord.
Yeah, well, I already checked with the building manager here, and she gave me some extra forms I have to fill out. But since I already had the one cat and I've already paid the pet deposit, that's all it is basically I think it's just that if the animal winds up wandering around the hallways, they know which apartment to bring it back to.
Moo. She's really good about that. She went into the hallway exactly once, looked one way, looked the other way, ran back in here, looked at me and said, "Human, it ain't worth it out there."
Yeah, well, like I prop the door open like to bring groceries in.
I could do that.
Sammy will go and he'll poke his head out in the hallway, but he will not step past the threshold.
Okay, then.
Because too often he has heard dogs out there. Actually, right across the hall from me, she has two dogs that just basically go off anytime anyone makes a noise in the hallway.
Okay. Now, more than one person has a dog in this building, but I never hear any of them. All I know is when they take the dogs out to take a shit. And it's the dog that's taking a shit, not them.
Well, I hope. I mean,
Dogs don't take shit; they leave shit.
There you go. Hey, I left the shit, Bill. Where'd you leave it this time? Last year, the kids didn't find it till Easter.
Yep.
Thank you, George Carlin.
Hey, godless scummer, how you doing?
Hey, Jeff,
how you doing, hon?
I just sent you a link on Twitter if you got time to come in.
Hey, how about that men's football team, eh?
Who? What? Where? When?
She's talking sports ball.
Last couple of days I've been asleep. I haven't seen anything.
Well, I've got no interest in sports, but
and is it football or the weird game that the Americans play?
Well, it's their sport, on their turf. I call it what they want to be called, and it's football.
Hand egg, okay.
Yep.
If they're playing it here in the States, then it's soccer.
Okay, then. No, seriously, what happened?
Well, England and United States tied the game, and so the United States was able to go on in the competition in the pyramid, and then they beat Iran 1-0, and so they're in the round of 16 now.
Oh, okay. So what did the Americans have some sort of advantage that them tying enabled them to advance?
No, it's actually kind of amazing because America usually ends up to be one of the first teams out on the first round.
Yeah.
But they've been improving over the decades. They're no longer cellar dwellers. Now they're the one or two up from that.
Hey, I grew up in Cleveland. I know all about cellar dwellers.
The Browns are doing pretty good this year.
Are they? I haven't looked.
Aren't they? I thought
I don't know. Let me go and see.
They're doing better than the Packers anyway.
Oh no. These people are that bad, huh?
Oh, something
right.
They are like awful. They're just horrible this year.
Okay, the Browns are 4-7, third in the AFC North. You could say that they're doing better than usual. They can't seem to buy a win on the road.
Carol the Atheist, is there a remake of It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh wow.
I have to see that Christmas Story Christmas.
What, the remake of Christmas Story?
It's more of a sequel.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. It is. I know it's not a
Well, Carol, it just when you said the original version, of course, that implies that there's another version, and so that's why I was asking if somebody did a remake.
Because I'm going to have to see where that film is. I'm actually going to have to see it. Okay, what do we have?
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a good one.
Wait a minute. It's showing already on for YouTube, Google Play, and Apple TV. What? It's not going to theaters?
What?
The sequel to Christmas Story.
I guess not.
They made a sequel to Christmas Story? Oh God.
Yeah, Ralphie's all grown up.
Oh, what
Ralphie's
a bad
all
idea.
grown up.
Yeah, they get pretty much the entire original cast back.
Yeah.
Donald Trump too?
What?
What?
Wasn't he in the original?
No.
No.
Oh.
Are you thinking of Home Alone?
Yeah, he's in the second Home Alone movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Sorry. Well, we couldn't get the whole cast to the other one because Darren McGavin's dead.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter anymore.
Well, they got all the kids back.
Man, he had a brilliant performance, though. McGavin did.
Yeah, he was. I think he was very underrated as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked him in The Night Stalker. Okay, no one else remembers that show ever happened.
No, just
I don't remember it at all. No,
nobody else liked it. That's all.
Kojak the Night Stalker. You talking about Kojak the Night?
I'm convinced he was the only reason that thing lasted more than one season.
I've never actually seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's a pathetic, supposedly horror show or
yeah. Well, basically, he was an investigator who kept winding up getting tangled up in investigating like cryptids and paranormal things.
Sounds like something I might like.
Have at.
Yeah, it was a low budget production. I'll give you that, but he was a good actor. The character was believable, and I thought the writing was fairly decent.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I actually never even saw more than the first Home Alone movie.
Yeah,
I didn't see any of them.
It was another one that people raved about, and I thought, it was an okay movie. It wasn't something I was going to watch over and over.
Yeah, saw the first one, saw the second one. Didn't really think it needed a sequel.
Hey, Sal. How things going on the summer side of the world? Oh, Sal, you're roboting real bad. We can't understand you.
story. Oh, I see what's happening here.
Oh my goodness, it's already boiling.
Once for yes, twice for no.
Yeah. Oh, I see what's happening. There seems to be a Christmas Story 2 out there that was released 11 years ago. I didn't know that one existed. So that's the one I was seeing on YouTube and Google Play and stuff.
Ah, okay. Yeah, this new one's called A Christmas Story Christmas.
Okay, Christmas Story Christmas. I want to see where it's showing.
Night Stalker for the people who work the overnight shift at Walmart.
Well, maybe there'll be a resurgence of being able to buy the lamp leg, the leg lamp. I mean,
hey Skits. I'm not quite sure which movie you're referring to there, Carol.
Night Stalker.
Unfortunately, yeah, when you're talking about the celebrities or the people involved, I'm really bad with names and who did what. Okay, Sal, how are you doing? Are you with us now?
Guess
yeah,
not.
I guess Sal's got a really bad connection tonight.
Moo.
I have kind of wondered, what Christmas is like in the Southern Hemisphere, since they're having it in the middle of summer.
Well, I do like the one song that, oh God, what is his name? The really rude comedian, the atheist.
Yeah, you gotta narrow that down a bit.
Yeah, I can't remember what his. He always wears strong eyeliner.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Doesn't narrow it down that much, no. God, I wish.
Tim
Minchin.
Yeah, Tim Minchin.
Yeah, he sings a song which is about drinking white wine in the sun. And when I was listening to that song, that sounded like something that would really encapsulate the thing down under.
If any of you out in the chat have never heard of this guy, you should definitely go take a look at his YouTube videos. He is just outrageously funny.
Yeah, I like him.
Tim,
he actually wrote the original Office, the one that came to America. He sold it and was done with it. But I guess the version in the UK was his.
Okay. Hey, Dave.
But I think White Wine in the Sun is one of the best songs ever written, actually. It's so complex. He wrote it when his daughter was born.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't remember that.
It addresses a little bit about Christmas, a little bit about atheism, a little bit about his daughter and life and things. It's just very, very complex, very, very deep.
Moo.
And hello, everybody.
Hi.
Howdy.
Yeah, we're trying to get a head count. We're going to be doing our thing for Yule, and looks like we'll have a lot more people involved this year than usual, at least a dozen.
Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to see the day upon which the Christmas falls. Oh, it falls on a Sunday. I don't have any conflicts with dialysis. All right.
Okay, well, yeah, I will be doing the Christmas marathon. I have to start organizing the schedule for that and getting people to cover all the time slots.
Yeah, I could.
So yeah, Diana, if you want, for the time your show usually starts, if you want to take a couple of time slots there, we'll just have whoever's doing it before that hand it off to you.
That sounds good. I like it. How long do you want to do that one? Do you want to start it on the 24th and then drop it on the 26th, or?
Yeah, well, that's I always start it at what's the first stroke of midnight past the international date line, so it pretty much winds up running, all through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day here.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure that I can pick up maybe I can pick up Boxing Day as well.
Okay, yeah, well, maybe you pick up another stream.
Yeah, I mean,
next day or whatever. Yeah.
And then there's the kitten. Now Saturday, I'm guessing that there will be dialysis. So okay, we don't necessarily commit on the 24th, but the 25th and 26th, yeah, I can pick up. I still have to put up that tree. Yeah, when Purple was here, we had gone to Target on Monday. I needed to pick up my glasses. Finally got new glasses. Yay! And I decided I'd buy a Christmas tree because when Jeff died, I kind of fell out of celebrating the holidays. And I figure, it's got to be time to pick it back up again.
I finally got some really good news.
All right, let's hear it.
Last year, I mentioned it here a few times. I was assaulted by the Pueblo Sheriff's office. I was sitting on my porch. Long story short, they thought that there might be a suspicious woman in the area, and I ended up in the back of a cruiser with cuffs on.
Holy shit.
I was outside having a cup of coffee, and basically the guy entered my curtilage, which is basically the same thing as entering your house without a warrant, because it was my porch. I asked him to leave. He refused to leave, and then he demanded my ID, and I wouldn't give it to him, so he got pissed off and arrested me. But he can't do that. So an attorney, a very high-profile attorney from the ACLU picked me up.
All right.
And so we're pursuing that. I think as a result of all of that, I was a peace officer for 15 years, and just the way police treat people and so forth. I knew my rights when the guy got on the porch, but I've studied more and more, and I think right now I found out something very interesting. I'm applying for SSDI.
Okay.
And if you get like win a lawsuit or win the lottery or whatever, it does not count as income.
It should not. Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to start doing First Amendment audits around Colorado.
The lottery doesn't count as income?
No, it's a one-time thing.
Not with SSDI.
Oh.
You do have to report it. You do have to report it, but it supposedly it does not count. Now, I don't know about Social Security, but SSDI, from I looked it up, and it says that like lottery or lawsuits or whatever, it does not count as income.
On Social Security, you are allowed to earn as much money as you want after 65, and it's a complete non-issue. You do have to report it, and it is taxed.
Well,
I'm just
not anymore.
No.
I went looking, and I'm going to have to wait to 66 and a half.
Yeah, I'm a youngster. I'm only 52.
Why is that, Diana?
Because they've been changing the start years, the start ages lately, to effectively cut the Social Security benefits to people who are coming on. My ex, for example, who is 52 now. She was born in 1970. That would make her 52, right? She's going to have to wait, I think, until 70.
Okay, looking this up. Lottery winnings do not affect Social Security disability income, but it can reduce or eliminate any supplemental security income, SSI.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But the thing is
look up the start
on my own time.
Security.
Yeah, let me look that up again, because I had looked it up because I thought that I was going to become eligible back in July.
Because I started at 64.
Well, you're a little older than I am. Admit
Yeah,
it.
but I started at 64. And
Well,
then
you
then
could
the
start
regulations
it.
are different. If you start before 65, then you're only allowed to earn $600 a month, and anything beyond that they'll cut you off.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. Okay, they're
Anyway, I
saying
figure I'm in a very good position right now because I'm 52. I can't work now. A lot of it is because of what happened to me with the police. I figure I can just go out and do First Amendment audits, and if they want to break the law or hurt me or whatever, arrest me. As long as I don't break the law, then I'll just hold them accountable. That's
Okay.
Unfortunately, I found out when I worked for Department of Corrections in Colorado that the only way they change policy is when they lose a lawsuit. They can know they screwed up for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but they won't actually change policy until after they actually lose that lawsuit. When that's wrong.
I'm looking at ssa.gov/benefits/retirement/planner. Year of birth 1943 to 1954. Full retirement age is 66. 55 at 66 and 2 months. 56 at 66 and 4 months. 57 me is 66 and a half.
Hey, Sal, you doing better?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Something
Yes,
weird about
yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. You've got some wind noise, but we get your voice now.
Sorry about that. The weather's really bad, but it's boiling hot.
Oh man, I wish I were there.
Well, you're doing fine. We can make out what you're saying at least.
Is everybody doing all right? I haven't spoken to you guys in such a long time.
Oh, I had a really great week this last week. Purple came over here for Thanksgiving, and we had a really nice time.
Well, happy belated Thanksgiving to all you guys.
Danke schön.
Americans.
I haven't talked to you in quite a while. I miss you.
I'm a working girl now. I got myself a little job, so.
That's a euphemism, you know.
So now I gotta work in the day, and in the evenings I gotta do stupid things like washing the clothes and washing the dishes and making supper and all sorts of things like that.
I still have some dishes to wash that I haven't washed since you took off, Purple.
I did the whole working mother routine when people still thought I was a man. Right down to the whole thing of I was literally a soccer mom driving my daughter and her friends to their soccer games.
It is, look, I haven't worked in a long time. Prior to getting this job, I was just at home and then doing all these things. Mm-hmm. Now I've got to work and do it. It's not that bad. I work literally where I live, so I take like 1 minute to get to work.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, I got it wrong. I thought it was going to be age 70. No, if you were born in 1960 or later, the Social Security retirement age starts at 67.
So which means I'm just 17 years off retirement.
There you go. There you go. I have to wait. Oh, God.
Until they raise it.
Yeah. No, mine is 66 and a half. So let's see. I have to wait till 2024.
Well, all you people who are still working out there, thank you. Just keep getting those little dollars in so that I can get paid every month.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn, I wish I was getting dollars though.
Well, I don't know. Would they be worth anything? You're where? I'm trying to remember where you are. South Africa or?
I'm in South Africa, yes.
Okay.
So
okay.
the Rand dollar exchange is now 17 Rand 65.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay.
So if I give you 17 Rand 65, you'll only get $1.
Yeah.
I don't know what can you guys buy with $1?
Not much.
These days they're even hard time finding a candy bar for that.
Really?
We were shopping this last time. You couldn't even get a loaf of bread or a decent loaf of bread for $1.
Even the Dollar Tree is like $1.25 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sloth Girl and I have started calling it the 5-quarter store.
There you go. Dollar Tree quartered bush.
I call it the dollar.
So even though the exchange rate is so bad, I still think it's better living in South Africa than in America. If you say one loaf of bread is $1.25.
Yeah.
That's a little bit, if you are on the poverty line or, below the poverty line in my country, you won't be able to afford a loaf of bread.
Well, just in the last year, the inflation has been completely out of hand as far as the groceries go.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been keeping a track of it, darlings. I know exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been keeping a track of it because, whatever happens in America affects the rest of the world.
Yes.
I've been wondering why the cows and the chickens have been going on strike, evidently.
The inflation rate is lower in America than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing when you think about it, really.
Yeah, as far as the cows and chickens, we've had a couple of times when I've gone to the store and you couldn't buy eggs. There just weren't any there.
Yeah.
Why not? Where are all your farmers?
Well, apparently a lot of the chicken farms got hit with a bird flu in October.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they had to destroy most of the flocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work in an actual animal feed shop.
Oh,
so
okay.
we supply animal feeds to the local farmers around here. So we deal with chicken, no cows. I think there's only like one product here for cows, but it's pigs and goats. And a lot of the people around here are very kind. So they buy food for the wild deer, like the antelope and stuff. Yeah, and the wild ducks and geese, and there are other sorts of wild birds that roam around.
Yep. My mom does
besides
that in
the farmers.
My mom buys 25-pound bags of feed corn and dumps a bucket of corn out in the driveway every day for the deer.
Okay.
What is your primary milk source?
Yeah,
is
it's
it
an
cows
awesome
or
thing.
goats?
I'm sorry?
When I was in
cows
college,
or goats that are your primary milk source?
It's actually the cows. Cows are primary milk source, but people are weird. They do sheep and goats. Yeah.
Oh, I love the goat cheese, like feta and that sort of thing.
Crocodile milk.
I've
Crocodile
never had
milk.
that. No.
I didn't even know crocodiles
You can't
make
milk
milk.
a crocodile, can you? I mean, they're
No.
not mammals.
Yeah, they have memory glands.
Sal, Carol's asking if you know Esther, the Afro-atheist, formerly African humanist.
No.
Oh, really?
Am I supposed to? If I'm supposed to know, I can find out.
I had thought you were already acquainted, but yeah, basically she talks a lot about, how Christianity is affecting Southern Africa.
Not well, if I remember correctly, right?
I do have a customer right now, so I'm just going to mute myself and deal with the customer, and then I'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, I've been giving my chickens soldier fly larvae, cranberries, these sunflower seeds, and whatever my son Kanye leaves behind in his bowl.
Oh, my ex used to feed the birds on a regular or a continuous basis. She was right below a major migratory route. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the North Atlantic Flyway. And I saw birds there when we were still together. that I had never seen personally prior to that and have not seen personally since. It's just that narrow strip from south to north over her previous residence.
Well, my mom has several different kinds of bird feeders for different birds there too.
Okay.
And well, it's one of the things that we've been noticing about the climate change. You know, because she'll tell you, you know, that in recent years she's been seeing some new species that she hadn't seen, and some she was used to seeing have disappeared. That their migration paths have moved west.
Okay. Okay.
When I was in college, I worked in the psychology department as the lab rat tender.
Oh, that must have been fun.
It was, and we
Yeah,
fed,
I meant it. Yeah.
and we fed them Purina rat chow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, that's what it was. Purina rat chow.
Purina makes a chow for just about everything. Can you imagine Purina tardigrade chow?
Yeah, but Purina is not high quality food. I would not recommend it for any of your animals.
Yeah.
No, it's cheap.
Really?
Yeah. It's got a lot of fillers that they can't necessarily digest, like the cat food and the dog food.
So that Irish setter that we raised that lived to 18 and a half years old and was only to the vet twice in her life was eating bad food, huh?
Might have made it to 25 on better food.
I don't think this planet is 22.
Well, no, it's just I switched my cats to Iams like 30 years ago, and I can see a difference that, you know, they don't eat as much, so while it looks more expensive to buy, it lasts longer, so it works out to about the same price. And because they're digesting it all, there's only half as much stuff left in the litter box.
Yeah, and I will say, Purple got me to switch to Iams, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
There's
it's not one of the real high-end vet foods, but, you know, it's one that you can still find at Target or Walmart. But, you know, I did some research on that about comparing the different brands of cat foods. And the Iams came out really good and was recommended by several vets.
There's a food called Old Roy that literally is known for killing dogs. I don't know how it's even legal to sell it, but there's not a humane society, I think, in the country that will accept it as a donation even. It goes straight in the trash. It's that dangerous.
Oh, Roy?
Yeah.
Oh, Roy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Sal, I just put a link in the YouTube chat for the Afro Atheist for her YouTube page.
I will go check it out. I've been
Oh, here we go.
I'm in joined a Facebook page called No Rules Religious Debate. And the stuff that these religious folks post is so asinine. It's almost like they don't look. I don't want to have anything against the actual religious people themselves. If they can just stop saying this stuff as if they don't live in reality. It really hurts me, you know, because I was a religious person for like 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come out and say, oh, you don't know what it means to be an atheist, you just deny the existence of God because you want to live in your sin.
Oh, yes. Oh,
okay.
God, that makes
Or
me
that
angry.
you only say you're an atheist because you're mad at God for something that happened.
Yeah, that makes me so angry. I mean,
And then they say something like, so if God didn't make the universe, then who did? Why does it have to be a who? Why can't it just be a what or how?
Or why do we have to know in the first place? Why isn't
Yes.
I don't know a valid answer?
My favorite argument is when they say, well, God made the universe. your Big Bang. How did everything come from nothing? Well, if God made the universe, where did they go for supplies? Walmart?
Why is it why is
the
it always
Jehovah's Witnesses are the funniest though, because they're gonna have this whole genocide, absolute genocide of everybody who doesn't believe the way they do. And then on top of this blood and gore, they are going to build paradise, guys, with actual lathes and woodworking machines and all sorts of nice things that we have today. God is going to use to build the new paradise on top of all that blood and gore.
why does it have to be either God or nothing?
Right.
I swear, if anybody ever asks me to lead a prayer, I'm going to start with, Jesus, please protect me from your ardent followers.
Also, please, guys, an argument is not evidence. So you can argue all day about if this, if that, and if the other thing. But if you don't have evidence, arguments are not evidence.
And what gets me, I've been in arguments and discussions and stuff with some pretty prominent religious people, pretty prominent theologians and apologists. And when I've asked them, can you please give me some independent evidence for what you're claiming? They simply repeat the claim. And I'm trying to tell them, you're just repeating the claim, and then they cut me off.
And also, if you say give some evidence, they quote something from the Bible.
Yes.
The Bible is the claim. The Bible is not evidence.
Yes, and now we need something to back up that claim. And it's almost like they choose not to understand what we mean.
I just discovered something called Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity. And this is a real thing. This fellow was in a Nazi war camp in World War II. He was actually killed about 2 weeks before the Americans came in. But basically what he said is stupidity has nothing to do with intelligence. It's more groupthink. And when there's a leader or whatever and people follow them, they basically relinquish their ability to think. They just don't bother to think, and they just go with the crowd, and it becomes a social illness. It's very, very interesting. And of course, you can see exactly how that would apply to Christianity.
Okay, yeah.
Reality, evidence doesn't matter. None of it matters. And basically, the other thing is that he said that stupid people are far, far more dangerous than malicious people, because stupid people are perfectly happy with being stupid.
Okay, yeah.
And being ignorant.
But then if you take that stupidity and mix it with the actual ignorance, where they think they all that is very dangerous, because no matter what you say to them, they are almost like stuck in that thinking.
Exactly. And that's what Bockenheimer was saying, that it was a social issue, and that if everybody thought the same thing, well, there is no reason to bother to think about it. And so
that's what they are telling. Did you guys hear about that guy, Armando Calvo? Christ righteous?
Not recently, but
unfamiliar.
From about a year ago, he popped in the scene when he said all atheists are liars, because no matter what we say, actually we do believe in God, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, a lot of people have
it's
claimed
us just
that.
denying everything.
Well, yeah, their book says so. Whereas I'm trying to remember what the scripture is, but everybody believes in his own heart and all that.
I know that God doesn't exist because years ago I asked Gaia about it.
Okay, yeah.
Every time I tried to ask God to help me, things just got worse.
Yeah.
Well, I tried
stopped asking God for help and started, realizing that it's actually my hubby and myself, who has to, take matters into our own hands, then only things started actually working out.
Well, I tried praying to God, a screwdriver, and I think it was a tin can, and the screwdriver actually answered more prayers.
Yeah, because you can do things with it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And then George
Even the
Carlin
tin
would,
can, you can actually use it for something.
George Carlin would pray to Joe Pesci. The
Well, he
actor.
does look like somebody who can get things done.
Yeah. It's amazing
I-
what
I
you can
told some
accomplish
Christians
with a
something.
simple baseball bat.
I told some Christians something that they didn't like, that God was actually my butt hair. Yeah, God
Okay.
is my butt hair. But you know what the difference between the Christian God and my butt hair is?
Your butt hair
I can prove
exists.
my butt hair exists.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, that's the thing with all these silly little arguments they say, like tornado in a junkyard, or
Oh, that's perfect.
those like putting things in a box and shaking it and throwing it out and it makes something, or the letters of the alphabet, writing Shakespeare play. These things are tangible things that we created. We can't use them to show what God created.
I actually showed that you can get order from Chaos. I took a pair of pants, I threw them onto my chair, and they actually folded themselves as they landed. And I took a picture of it. It posted it up as see, you can get order from Chaos. Next post down, person said, "Do you have God in your pants?" And I said, "Well, that's what she said."
Well, they also don't understand things about probability and large numbers.
Well, I don't know.
Large numbers, therefore God.
Is it that they don't understand, or is it that they ignore?
Well, I
think ignore.
Probability is a
I
hard
think they
thing for a lot of
choose to-
people to grasp, actually. I'll give that. But,
Okay.
if you allow infinite time, anything that isn't impossible becomes inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they will use that against you, Purple. They will say, "Oh, so all you need is enough time."
Oh,
we don't have enough time because the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
Yes, so many of them do that.
Yeah.
Honey,
It's
will
like
you
my
shut
argument
up?
for why I believe that there is intelligent life outside this world, this planet, and it's real simple as math. If we do in fact have a infinite universe or a close to infinite universe, that means that there's an infinite amount of times that a planet like ours could possibly exist. Now, is it trillions of miles away? Possibly, or did it exist, a billion years ago, or they exist, But the thing is and it's like this, like the way I look at it is, it's like the lottery. If you play the lottery an infinite amount of times, you literally will win the lottery an infinite amount of time.
Yeah. In fact, I took one of these pastors saying how impossible it would be for intelligent life to form anywhere other than this one planet. I took the numbers he used, they were really big numbers. I plugged it into the Drake equation. I still came up with like three intelligent life forms in the universe.
Okay. Yeah, it amazes me the way a lot of the apologists, William Lane Craig is guilty of this as well, of pulling out the very, very large numbers, like 10 to the 40th to the 300th and all this stuff. Something about the large numbers seems to make the peons' heads swim or something like that.
We can't conceptualize these numbers, so it's easy for them to use it to dupe people with.
I'm sorry, I can't take William Lane Craig seriously at all.
Well, neither
a couple of months ago, he said instead of raising the bar for the standard to prove God, he lowers it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
God must have a lower standard for evidence than what we can, see or measure or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think he's a particularly good philosopher.
I did.
Oh, he's terrible. But he made a living out of it. He's rich as hell, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he got lucky to be involved with Biola. I guess that college has a name, so he kind of got it by osmosis.
I don't think we can really blame that because look at Kent Hovind. He went to what do they call it? Degree mill,
Yeah.
whatever.
A degree mill. Yeah.
Yeah. And
he
he's
went
still,
to a double wide
he's
trailer.
also famous.
Yeah, that the actual
Or should I say
university
infamous?
he got his diploma from is literally a house trailer.
Yeah.
Well, my left
Hello,
nut has,
my name is Kent Hovind.
well, my left nut has just as much of a legitimate degree as Kent Hovind, and it has a degree in science and stuff. I got it online.
No, he's been a maths and science teacher for 15 years.
No, that's my left nut. It has a degree in science and stuff. I got it online.
Oh my.
Yeah.
No, my left nut.
Yeah, his left nut, his left testicle has a degree.
Well, I was actually thinking that since I didn't set up a Woo channel, which would have made me rich by now, that I could start printing diplomas that say St. Cloud Street, and most people probably won't look close enough to see and think it says St. Cloud State, which is a very reputable university. And I could just tell people, you mail me $5,000, you wait 6 months, I send you a diploma. That's about all it needs.
Okay.
That reminds me of that guy. I think his name is Raw Matt. He wrote something and then he took the emblem of a reputable university and pasted it onto his little paper thing and said, "Here, he's got a peer-reviewed paper."
Honey, shut up.
He doesn't know what
cat,
the meaning
Diana.
of et al. You know when they say a name and they say et al. He thinks et al. Is a person.
Okay.
Yeah,
Something
so he
that
writes
really
the name of himself and then he says et al. As if it means something. These people are stupid. I mean, I know that my intelligence level is not the best, but damn, they really
you're not
go
doing too badly for
underground
yourself.
to try and convince us that their idea, I just want to be generous, their idea is, real and true, #TM. And the more they try to convince me, the more I'm unconvinced.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to say that if I didn't already identify as an atheist before I started watching some of these apologists, they would have gotten me there.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that amazes me, and as to illustrate how out of touch they are. Of course, the devil's evil and bad, and God is good. But if you look at the Bible, Satan is accused of doing evil, but if you read it, he never does any evil.
That's right.
It's God himself who does the evil
at all, except for
God
under
is the one who uses, like spies, or sending this angel, or sending the bear to kill the kids.
Well,
who the heck is it?
Satan is not Yahweh's adversary. He's his henchman.
Yeah.
He does all the dirty work so God can claim his hands are clean. The only time in the Bible that Satan killed anyone, he had to ask God's permission first.
Yeah.
And that was on a bet.
I'm trying to remember.
And that was on a bet. Yes, imagine God gambling with people's lives.
Yeah.
How is...
Well, he was only killing women and children. It wasn't like it was really people.
And what I really love is, under God's direction, Satan kills, was it a dozen or 11? 11 or 12. But anyway, I'll say 12 of Job's kids. But it was perfectly okay because at the end of everything, God replaced them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't even bring the original kids back. Here's the new ones.
Yeah, it shows the whole attitude that, women and children are just property. They were just like livestock. That's all.
I'm trying to remember who it was that I heard say this. I think it might have been Aaron Ra. in the Genesis story, the story of the fall, the only person who told the truth was the snake.
Yes.
I don't think you can go 10 pages without God doing evil in the Bible in one way or another, or something immoral. And I'm dead serious here, because I looked through the Bible and looked at it. He's either deceitful, or he directly hurt someone, or orders someone to get hurt, or something. But there is evil. I don't think you can go 20 pages, except for maybe in Numbers with the begats.
Okay, it was 10 people. It was 7 sons and $3 of Job. They off.
But the Christians justify this. They say, "Oh, it's not me who is feeling or saying these things. It's God. So don't blame me if you don't like it. Blame God."
Yeah, but who is it that says when you support my enemy, you become my enemy by default?
Yeah.
Well, the challenge
as I said, I'm following this No Rules Atheist page, the religious debate, and it says there are no atheists that don't use phrases like "oh my God" or "Jesus Christ," meaning there are no atheists.
But that's meaningless because you get that sort of thing from the exclamations from people who have Tourette's. They're not thinking about God when they say that.
Yes, in the beginning they used to say, "Oh my God," like praying to God to help them. I do love cats.
I say "oh my God" because it's understood speech, and it is understood speech.
Yeah.
Well, when people ask about the "oh my God" thing, I just ask them, when somebody sneezes, do you say "Gesundheit"? Does that mean you're German?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
My habit is to still say "bless you." I can't get out of that habit, but it doesn't mean I'm really thinking that a demon has now come out of you.
Right. Well, now and then I'm remembering to do it more often. But somebody will sneeze and I'll say, "Please don't die."
I think I might go with Kate's idea and go with Godzilla.
All right. I like that.
After living through the pandemic, I think that when somebody sneezes, the appropriate response is, "I forgive you."
Oh, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, really.
I don't know
guys,
how I have
it's always so wonderful to talk to you guys. Purple, I love you. All the rest, I love you guys.
Yeah, glad you're able to jump in.
But I have to get back to work now.
Okay.
Aww.
Well, glad you came in for a bit. Yeah, we miss you. We want to hear how things are going for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I've ignored all your other ones. I always look at it with like a broken heart and think, "Oh, I wish I was there, but I gotta work." So
I'm aware of the time difference, that it's the middle of the day for you there.
Yeah, it's now it's almost 7:45 in the morning. So
I was gonna guess that. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost midnight for me here.
It's almost
my show comes on at
Flat Earth is real, guys. Flat Earth is real. Just tell all your friends. It's midnight there, and it's 8:00 here. And at my friend Mepet in Australia, it's I think should be almost evening time, afternoon, late afternoon, evening. So the Earth is definitely
Australia,
flat.
it's tomorrow afternoon for me.
Yeah, Mipet lives in Tomorrowland, basically.
Yeah, well, that's
we are
Andrew.
in the past compared to her.
Andrew is in here a lot. He lives in Australia, so I know that he's something like 14 or 15 hours ahead of me.
Yeah,
she's 8.5 hours ahead of me. So, and yeah.
I really miss.
So you guys, I love you. I'll catch you later.
Okay.
You take care.
We'll catch you later.
Please be good.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
I really miss being able to talk to Nacha on a regular basis.
I do too.
When he would be waking up, I would be on my way to bed, and when I would be waking up, he'd be on his way to bed.
Yep.
I see him on Discord every once in a while.
Well, he does produce the Leah podcast.
Yeah.
So he's always there moderating the chat for that every Friday night. That's about the only thing I know of that he's doing actively online anymore.
Yeah, I miss the stuff he used to produce. Well, I should be producing stuff. I've gotta get my motor
I should
turning.
too. And I had actually had an idea for when he was producing stuff, that couple of collaboration ideas I had, but I never got around to putting them together. And then he kind of retired from doing YouTube.
Trying to remember, did he get chased off?
Not directly, but yeah, there were some rocky things with some people in the community. And especially, he wound up catching a lot of shit he didn't deserve over the anti-ordinary thing.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, anyone saw my last video on my garden channel? What did you guys think of that those little pop-up info things throughout the video?
I have to watch that yet.
Other than being too long and needing to pause to see them. I mean, I understand that. If I do this further, I'm going to shorten them up or make them stay longer. So.
Well, for me, it would definitely have to make them stay longer because I'm, it's slow reading with my dyslexia.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched it yet. I listened to it while I was laying in bed, but I didn't see what the screen was doing.
Yeah, I added these little pop-ups to give a little information on some of the plants that were mentioned.
I like the idea, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that more in my videos.
I have not gotten any notifications whatsoever.
Oh, I have gone out of my way to shut down notifications for YouTube, just because it was pretty much swamping me and just dinging all the time. So at this point, it only gives me notifications in email. So it's when I go to check my email, I see what it says. If somebody's responded to one of my comments or whatever.
Well, if you're looking for my garden channel, I'll be uploading on Tuesdays, so you can keep an eye out for it on that day, or the night. You just watch it the next day.
I have to look at my general settings because I don't see any notifications, even though I hit the bell every time.
Yeah, even when you hit the bell, the YouTube decides only picks and chooses when it wants to send you something.
Well, that was the other reason I just disabled the YouTube notifications, because it kept notifying me of when people were live half an hour after.
Neil would always complain about that.
Yeah, well, when it's half an hour after they start, a 15-minute preview, I've completely missed it by the time I got the notification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've even also seen live streams where I went to my subscription, and the live stream wasn't even showing up in the subscription, even though I was just on the live stream.
Yeah. What I've gotten the habit of doing is that, when people, set up the thing that they're going to do a live stream, for some people, they wind up doing it months ahead of time. But just when those come up in my subscription feed, I save those to a playlist for, future live streams.
Okay, then.
And then I just go in and I sort that by date and time. So anytime I've got some time free, I can go and look at that and see who's going to be the next one to be live.
That's a pretty good idea.
Ah, crap! We got a bot in here.
I was off the screen, so I didn't see it.
Back the bot.
Thank you, Doorknob Head.
Yep. Yeah, Doorknob had already got it by the time I switched over to the chat window. That's why I appreciate having moderators, and why I don't have a problem with basically moderating anyone that I've seen around long enough. It helps. I wound up in the opposite situation one time that in one stream I was in the side chat. It turned out I was the only one that had the moderator thing. So I really didn't get to follow the show anymore because I wound up having to, police what was going on in the chat and the trolls coming in.
another good thing of news. It looks like I may not be getting early senility. Basically, there's a differential diagnosis that my doctor taught me or told me about. Basically, she believes that it's actually stress. Now, it still presents exactly like early senility, but basically, she's saying that with medicine and counseling and so forth, that there's a good chance I will improve and do much better.
Oh,
That's
nice.
great news.
Nice.
So
Yep.
I'm extremely excited. I think she is right. But it was pretty damn scary. I tell you
Yeah,
that.
I know when
I
I
can
when I-
imagine.
yeah, when I start having anxiety, it can be very hard for me to think straight.
Because,
Exactly. And I was getting to where I didn't even recognize local places and stuff. It got that bad.
and I
And that
think
was
the
what really scared
the
the hell
worst-
out of me.
the worst thing I can think of happening to me would be where I'm losing my faculties and know it.
Oh yeah, that's how my grandfather was. He would every so often become coherent, and you knew what was going on with him.
Yeah, that's where I was about a week and a half ago when I called my psychiatrist because it was really, really bad. And so anyway, we're working on that. But so I'm really, really excited. I think I'm going to do a little bit better here soon.
Yeah, that's great
I
news.
like the sound of that. Yeah.
I have wondered how that's going to be as I get older, because for me it's just a side effect of the autism. I have the severe facial blindness as it is.
Oh,
So
depressive
that
nausea. Yeah.
yeah, even now, family members that I haven't seen in a long time, I won't necessarily recognize them when they walk in.
Last year, my daughter, I moved to Pueblo, which is basically about 30 minutes from where my daughter grew up. And I hadn't seen her in 4 months. But up to that point, she had lived with me the entire time, up until she was about 20. So I was working at a public place, and she and her boyfriend, well, I didn't know it, but this lady and this man came up and asked me some questions. And I realized when she walked off, it was my daughter. And then it happened about 2 weeks later at a different place. I totally did not know who she was. Even when she spoke to me, I didn't know who she was.
See, I had that happen with one of my cousins when I moved back to Michigan, that I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, and he came up in the grocery store and started talking to me, and I was just trying to reach through my mind, trying to figure out who this man was and why was he talking to me.
Okay, then.
I heard that Brad Pitt has such horrible face blindness that he won't go out, which merely makes me wonder, because that is usually something that goes along with autism. But I'm sure it can be by itself, but I haven't heard of that happening. It could, I'm sure, but it just kind of makes me wonder if he isn't on the spectrum somewhere.
I hadn't heard of that one, but it sounds like an interesting proposition.
I heard recently Chris Hemsworth found out he's high risk for Alzheimer's.
Oh,
well, there is some of it in my family, and that's why I'm concerned that it could develop as I get older.
There's the other thing I don't know.
There is an increased it's more prolific with autistic people, early onset dementia. I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah, there's the other thing I don't know. There's so many things I don't know because I don't know my medical history. I was an adopted child. So that's another thing that could sneak up on me, and I really don't want that happening. Like, it's possible that my kidney failure has genetic roots, and it's possible that my heart problem is genetic, and
that they could have spotted these things before they became serious if they had known what your parents and grandparents had.
One of the most bizarre things about autism is, and this is really being, well, it's been proven, but it's becoming more and more interesting to scientists, and that is that for some reason our gut bacteria has something to do with the brain. There is correlation between our brain's function and what bacteria we have in our stomachs. And we
Oh, yeah, I've heard
have
about
at least, there's like 3 or 5, 3 specifically for biological men. And then there's like 5 or 7 for cis females that
Okay.
are different bacteria that don't necessarily exist in other people's stomachs. Like,
I
what the
didn't know
hell? You know?
I could see how it would happen, but I hadn't heard that one earlier. No.
Yeah, Doorknob's right.
Well,
But I think that's really interesting.
yeah, Doorknob, definitely.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm also really interested in these things that, they say that it's, got a much higher percentage in men than women in that. So, of course, I'm always wondering about, well, okay, how does being trans affect that?
Well,
because actually, one of the reasons that they didn't diagnose my autism earlier was because it didn't manifest like they would have expected it to. But going back in retrospect, it had all the early symptoms that are typical for a teenage girl with autism.
Okay, then. Yeah, I have to wonder. I know that I'm going to eventually have a heart attack. I mean, I've got the coronary artery problem and everything. I wonder how that's going to manifest when I do have one. Because my puberty, for example, more resembles that of a girl than a boy.
To tell you the truth, I think my autism actually is more representative of a female than a male.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's I think what you were saying, Purple, essentially.
Yeah, that, if they had been looking for the diagnosis based on what they would expect with the girl, they probably would have diagnosed my autism at least 10 years sooner.
Okay. So I see the bot was back. Thank you, Titan. I wasn't looking, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was reporting it, but it gave Titan the credit for hiding it.
Okay.
But yeah, I appreciate having the people in the side chat helping with those things so they get rid of them quick.
Well, it's great having multiple of us. Somebody's going to catch it.
Okay, Doorknob had Mage's links are in the description for the show, so you can find his YouTube channel there. Yeah, heart attacks, they can treat them if you get help early enough.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll just stick it in the chat so you can get it right directly.
Yep, that's fine too. You can drop extra links.
Yeah, because I know eventually I'm going to have a stent put in the one coronary artery, but they told me that they wanted to wait closer to the time that I would have a kidney transplant.
Yeah, that link there is my channel.
Thank you, what do we have? There you are.
Yeah, Titan, I've been keeping score, and yeah, whoever bops the most bots will be awarded a prize on New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah, all right. That sounds good.
Although I think that anybody would have a hard time catching up with Ox for that prize yet. Mostly I'm worried about the mental stuff that can happen. I figure pretty much any of the physical stuff I can deal with. As long as I can still think and still communicate with other people, I think I could live with most anything else that happens.
Oh, man. I wonder sometimes because since I became a pincushion, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I've even from time to time done sensory deprivation experiments, and I'm planning to do another one soon here. That basically I want to I'm gonna bandage my eyes and see if I have a good enough mental image of the building to be able to navigate from here upstairs to Sloth Girls
I used to practice doing that.
Okay.
I've done it a number of times in my life. It's been interesting. Yeah, one time I wrapped up my eyes and Sloth Girl took me to the mall, which was interesting because it was a place that I really wasn't familiar with. So I really had to feel everything out.
Oh my, but what did the cashiers say about that? Wah, 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 wah.
Well, this was like back in the early 90s, so.
I'll have to try that with a strip club.
I have seen an amazing thing. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of this guy in Britain who is blind and rides a bicycle by doing sonar echoing the same way bats do.
I've seen him, yeah.
I
It's
haven't
interesting.
seen this. I gotta look.
Yeah, that he makes these high pitched clicking sounds and he can ride a bicycle without running into things.
Huh.
There's also been some experiments where they put sensors on people's tongues, and somehow through the visual cortex, they could actually see. They stimulated the part of the brain of the visual cortex and used a camera. So they hooked the camera to the tongue and then basically wired that to the visual cortex, and these people could literally see and navigate around objects.
Huh.
All
Interesting.
right.
And that one I haven't heard about.
No, I didn't hear about that, but that gets me thinking that we're almost at the level of Geordi's visor in Star Trek.
Just about, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was something I always wondered about with Next Generation, that they seem to be able to fix most anything. It seemed blindness shouldn't have been a thing anymore.
Well, with Geordi, he was a special case.
But I'm trying to remember back to that. Didn't that visor cause him pain?
Yeah, he had bad headaches from it. They kept telling him that they could just get implants, but he kept refusing for a long time.
That's what I was wondering, why he never got implants. And actually, with Star Trek, I even wondered if they needed to do implants or if they just needed to, edit his transporter pattern and send him off and bring him back.
Well, that was the problem. He was born blind. So there was being no pattern of him being sighted.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but, it would have just been genetic editing, which they'd shown they could do.
Yeah, well, actually, genetic editing was later retconned to be illegal. Unless there's extreme cases.
What I want is that Bones should beam down here, travel in time, beam down here, give me a pill and grow my kidneys back.
Yeah, there you go.
Star Trek 4 motion picture reference, kids, in case you didn't know.
What is this, the Dark Ages?
Yeah.
I don't think we're very far off from basically taking one's DNA, say in your case, Diana, your DNA, and then splicing it with others' DNA to basically edit out the whatever would cause the kidney or liver problems or whatever it is, or pancreas issues, and then literally just grow one and put it inside you, and it would be your actual pancreas or whatever else, just edited.
That
Well,
was
that's
great.
what I was
basically
thinking that with the lab grown meat, they should be able to do something, like growing organs, like you say, from the person's own genetics, so that there couldn't be a transplant rejection.
Yeah, that's basically what they've been trying to do with 3D printed organs.
And then there was a small black kid that they did the stem cell stuff on him. The reason was he had sickle cell so bad. Now this is like a 1-year-old or something. He had it so bad he was going to die. Period. And so they administered these stem cells. Well, it did cure him of sickle cell, but it also interestingly changed his blood type.
Oh
yeah.
What I think is really interesting is how the hell did he survive that?
Yeah, because wouldn't there be some period where he would have a transfusion rejection against himself.
Right.
Yeah, if the body was trying to, replace it gradually, just
So basically, my point is with that's a major editing of one's body. So I imagine with a particular organ or whatever else, well, that would be the bone marrow, the biggest organ of the body, pretty much. Well, not second to the skin.
Well, the second biggest skin, I think, is the largest, isn't it?
Yeah. Skin is definitely, but that's a big deal. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very hopeful.
Yeah, well, the bone marrow produces the stem cells. It's producing cells that basically haven't been assigned for what they're going to be yet, so they could become pretty much any cell in the body at that point.
Oh,
Right.
really? Okay, that one I didn't know. I was thinking that the bone marrow was producing proto-erythrocytes, but no, okay, I got you now.
Well, it also produces white blood cells.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, that's the cells they extract for a bone marrow transplant are at a stage that they haven't specialized yet. So they're kind of like embryo cells that can grow into any type of organ.
Oh man, unfortunately.
Hey, Rex.
Hello.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Hi, honey. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I heard you start talking about Star Trek, so I figured I'd come in.
Oh, okay. Don't get me started on freaking William Shatner. Holy hell.
Oh, get Kate in here.
Oh, and don't get me started on Discovery and Picard and this news Trek garbage.
Oh, I watched 2 seasons of Discovery, and I was like, nope. And I haven't even watched Picard yet. So.
That's about where I got. I was watching I think the first 2 seasons of Discovery and the first season of Picard. Oh God.
Yeah, I did not see any of the new stuff, but yeah, when they go off on it being alternate universes and separate timelines that have nothing to do with the original continuity.
Oh, this gets worse. They're trying to claim this stuff enough to be canon into the original timeline.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah.
So my deal with William Shatner,
you don't want to retcon that much information. You're just going to make a hideously convoluted mess.
Oh, they've shit on canon about every episode.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
My issue with William Shatner is that about a year ago on his Twitter page, somebody was saying something about Autism Speaks and how great it was, and I put in there that most of the most of the autistic community would not agree with you. So William Shatner comes on there and calls me an idiot. And I identified myself as autistic, and he just was nasty, horrible person.
Well, I think it speaks volumes about Autistic Speak that at one time they actually had one guy on the board who was autistic, and they promptly got rid of him.
Right.
Wow. Well, my whole deal with Shatner was when I found out that he gave George Takei so much hell for being gay way back when, like before anybody else ever knew, I was like, dude, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's what I had thought that it had done.
Yeah, I think it was back on the original series set that somebody had found out that George was gay, and Shatner got wind of it, and then he just started giving him shit.
Apparently, he doesn't remember doing it.
Well,
apparently, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, he is like 90 years old or whatever.
He was apparently rather confused about the whole spat between him and Takei. They wondered why he wasn't invited to the wedding. So apparently, if he had done anything, he doesn't remember.
Because I had thought that there was bad blood between Takei and Shatner.
Yeah, Shatner doesn't know why, though.
Yeah, I really had not known what that was about before. I knew that they were not on good terms, but
it was about him being gay. Yeah, at least from what I understand. And yeah, which movie was it that Sulu was in command of the Excelsior, and
Oh, that was the one Al Rook was in. That was number 5, was it?
Undiscovered Country, yeah, the one with the Klingon. Yeah. And they didn't appear on screen together. I mean, they were edited in to be in a shot together, but they were never on set together.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that lives close by. His father was the lizard guy in the original Star Trek series.
Oh, the Gorn?
Yeah, yeah. He was the Gorm, and this guy has all kinds of stuff from. Well, he actually helped design the cube for the Borg.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Because his father had connections, and then so he basically bullshitted his way into the project. Like he knew what the hell he was doing for props and shit, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing at all. He said they needed a pipe fitter for a prop, so he said, "Okay, I can do that." He went to some plumbing guy to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a couple of days before the job.
Do you know how they put together the Borg cube originally?
It was some kind of model. I don't know. He had pictures of it and so forth, but it was actually a 3D. It was a real thing that they built.
Yeah, it was actually all the interconnecting pieces. It was those leftover parts from models, and they just glued them together.
Yeah, he didn't tell me about
what
that
they call
part.
a kit bash.
No, listen, kit bash. That's where you take different parts from different models and put them together. This was like those leftover pieces. You know how you get those frames with all little pieces of model, and you cut each part out.
Plastic trees that hold all the parts.
It was a bunch of those. It was a bunch of those, and they just glued them together into a cube. That's basically what the original cube was.
But it's kind of funny. This guy, he so he bullshitted his way in when he was real young, right after he got out of the Marine Corps, and well, now he's retired and a multimillionaire. And all he did is for the rest of his life was work on props and so forth. So I just thought that was really neat. He's got all kinds of props from different movies.
That is cool.
I give him credit for creativity with a Borg cube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and kit bashing is what they did for the original Star Wars Death Star model. They took a bunch of battleship models and just glued them together and tried to make it look like for the dogfight scene.
Okay.
When I was 14, my foster brother and I made a ship. Basically, we started with taking, the bulb and the neck part from the Klingon battle cruiser.
Okay,
and we kind of dressed it up, and we put a couple of lights in it. And we cast a string from our second-story window around the power lines in the alley and back. So then at night, we ran it back and forth on that string a couple of times. And when the local paper came out a couple of days later, there were a dozen reports of people calling in a UFO to the police department.
Report 50 calls, yeah. That's great.
That's beautiful.
I wish I had the issue of the college paper where I had an entire dogfight hanging from the ceiling of my dorm room. That was fun putting that together.
Sounds like it would be.
Yeah, that's when you could go to Woolworths and get the plastic models.
And you almost need to go to specialty stores nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If it's in a model kit store, yeah, you're not going to find it pretty much, yeah.
At one point, I had bought like a half dozen of the models of the original Enterprise. And based on the stuff in the Star Trek technical manual, I had built one of each type of ship they had in there.
Oh,
nice. So I built the destroyer and the dreadnought out of parts from the model kits.
Cool.
I don't know whatever happened to those. They were in my mom's attic when I went away to school, so I'm sure that one of my nephews got them and nobody will own up to it.
One of those
When I
things
was
that got
7
stolen.
years
I hate
old.
when they do stuff
Yeah,
like that.
also, they don't realize how valuable one of the things they got there was, because it was a prototype of the model for the Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
Because my brother worked as a security guard for Monogram Models. That was never supposed to leave the plant. It had been thrown in a bin to go into the grinder. And since he was working at night when nobody was there, he saw it in the bin and he pulled it out.
Yeah, I'd probably do that too.
You know, and you can tell it's the prototype. The pieces didn't quite fit together right. They hadn't refined the molds yet.
Okay.
But I can imagine what that would get on eBay these days.
Between 1987 and 1977 and 1980, I collected Star Wars figures. Now, being autistic, I kept them pristine. I had over 50 of them in the little boxes that they had, you know, that you put your little dolls in. And like I hadn't lost any of the parts. They were in pristine shape. And in 1987, when I went in the military, my stepmother threw them away. I am still pissed. I am still pissed about that.
I did not keep mine in such good condition. I played with them. But yeah, I had, you know, all the figures from the first release of Star Wars. Because, yeah, back in the, you know, when I was in junior high and high school, I was using those in a Super 8 movie camera to doing stop motion animation.
Okay, then.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but like, how much are those things worth now? How much would they be worth?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Thousands? I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Couldn't you
if you
even
got
start
ones that
doing
have
that?
the original Kenner copyright on them before Hasbro brought them,
Well,
you can get some money for those.
In the state that Star Wars is in right now, maybe not quite so much.
Well, more because of the state that Star Wars is in. I mean, the original stuff still decent.
Oh, yeah,
although,
the original stuff
you know,
is decent.
with my fiance, I did go back and look at the original Star Wars movies, and I realized that at the time we were so dazzled by the cutting edge special effects that we ignored that there really was not very good writing.
Okay, then.
Well, you know what? I've been watching some things on YouTube recently about the original three movies compared to now, and really, these people are talking about how much better it looks, the old stuff, than the new, because the digital just isn't up to par with the realism and the detail of using models still.
Yeah, honestly, I am still a big fan of physical props and models.
Yeah.
I mean, for some things it works well. In the last Starfighter, they did it well because they didn't try to swap back and forth. That was the first movie that they made no models, that all of the space scenes were completely computer generated.
I want to see how Avatar does. How the new
you-
Avatar does. It's Spielberg
Oh,
came up
that.
with a lot of new technologies for that. So
I
I'm really curious.
don't see that new Avatar movie doing what it needs to do. They're claiming apparently it needs to make $2 billion to break even.
Mm.
Basically, it needs to be one of the top selling movies of all time, and in order to just break even. So
Well, it
yeah,
depends. They could be banking on a longer run, that it'll lose money in the theaters, but then they'll make money back when it goes to streaming services.
I don't think it's gonna do it.
I'm just
Oh,
saying
well, you
that
got-
might be their strategy.
Well, you got to do like Star Wars. You got to figure in the toy profits, and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Merchandising.
Carol, I was-
Merchandising.
merchandising.
I was the target audience. I was the
Carol-
target audience for the original Star Wars. I was 14 when the first movie premiered in
Oh.
theaters.
And if you do want to see Star Wars in DVD quality and how it was originally run, look up something called Star Wars Despecialized Edition. It was a fan and made a thing that basically restored it back to its original state before it was specialized and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, that's good. I did think it was a mistake for George Lucas to try and update the originals. I
Yeah.
thought they should have just been left alone.
So you
Absolutely.
can find that online if you look around.
I remember
There's
in
al-
1977, I was at a drive-in theater, and I was in complete awe.
There is also one that's apparently a no cheese edition, which is apparently they just took the special edition and removed all the cheesy elements.
Oh, like that song they did in Jabba's Palace.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The new edition of Return of the Jedi. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, apparently
Star
that
Wars
exists
the
out there too.
musical.
Yeah, exactly.
So these are fan edits out there. If you've owned Star Wars in the past, you can legally download them.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
not owned Star Wars since I had it on VHS.
Oh,
yeah,
I've
that's
still
the
got,
last time I owned it.
I've still got the box set of the original 3 on VHS under my.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
what
if
I
I
had.
still do or not.
Yeah.
I had it. I gave up all my VHS tapes when I moved from New York.
Oh,
You know,
well,
I had to shed some weight for that move. So
well, and once a VHS tape gets eaten, it's like a cassette tape. It's never exactly the same. You know what I mean?
yeah, actually for several years that was my job. I volunteered at the St. Paul Library, repairing all the damaged VHS tapes that came back.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, the thing about the VHS and the cassette tape players is you had to be diligent about keeping them clean.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was the
Yeah.
thing, that most people did not clean them often enough.
No.
I still got a bunch of
Hey, Beck,
VHS.
you have time to jump in?
I still have a bunch
Beck.
of VHS tapes sitting around, but I don't have anything to play them on.
Yeah, I haven't had a machine in a very long time. I used to have 2.
Well, that's the best way
I
of
have
having them.
recently unearthed my VHS machine. That it showed up while I was digging for some other stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how I found my VHS DVD combo player. But it's probably so dirty on the inside that if I stuck a VHS in there, yeah.
I remember
I-
that one of the
I am very confident that mine is in working condition.
Oh,
It's
maybe-
just, like I said, I had given up all my tapes. However, I do still have a package of 3 blank tapes still sealed in the shrink wrap.
Well, maybe
Oh,
you can
my.
donate that to a museum.
Yeah.
I remember.
Actually, one of my Commodore computers actually went to a museum.
Oh my word!
Yeah,
I remember
it's
one
part
of-
of a display in a museum now.
Okay.
That's cool. One of the huge technological advances I remember, the first time I really recognized it was a 4-head VHS.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Super high definition.
That was
Yeah,
a
like-
big deal.
Yeah.
I still remember the format wars because my brother-in-law bought a Betamax player. He was sure that was the one was going to win.
hmm
Well, if I remember correctly, the Beta was a technically superior format to the VHS,
Mm-hmm.
but the
It was in
VHS
some
had the
ways, yeah.
marketing.
Right.
Yep.
Well, actually, one of the big problems with the Beta was that Sony was a little too diligent about protecting their patents. So for a long time, they made it virtually impossible for anybody else to produce tapes for their machine.
Okay.
Well, it worked for Sony.
Yeah, it sounds like something Sony would do.
Yeah, I remember the video cassette that my brother-in-law had because it was also the first one to have a remote that was on a 15-foot cord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it still had to plug into the front of the player with a phono jack plug.
Yeah, I remember TVs that were like that. Look, remote control. I'm like, okay.
Now, how old are you? Do you remember the audio remote controls? They had reeds. You would hit a button and it would pluck the reed and the television would pick up the sound.
Hell, you probably remember being the remote control.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Get up and go change your channel, boy. Okay.
Actually,
I remember
one
when black
company
and white
actually
was still common.
did produce a TV with a remote control in the late 50s. That basically all it was pretty much shining a flashlight, and the four corners of the screen were volume up, volume down, channel down.
Okay.
But it never really caught on because things like too much sunlight from the window would make it randomly change channels on you.
Okay.
I remember how rich my my uncle and my aunt and uncle were. I mean, they had a color Curtis Mathis console TV. They thought TVs were furniture back then.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember growing up a lot of TVs that it took 3 people to lift them.
Oh yeah. Man, when those two finally bought a color television, which was I think in something like 1979 or some shit like that. That was the first time they bought a television. They bought a Curtis Mathis, paid $1,500 for it, and never watched the mother.
Yep. And then when that died, you just bought another TV and you set it on top of the old one because you was too much work to get the old one out the door.
Absolutely. That's what they did with that black and white portable that they bought.
Yeah.
I also remember taking all the tubes out of a TV set and taking them to the drugstore to test them and find out which tube went bad.
I remember those trips. Yep.
Yeah, we had one that was like huge, and it was a Zenith. And yeah, I used to play Nintendo on that all the time. So
those two were Motorola fans. But yeah, I remember.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It literally looked like a piece of furniture. It was like the TV stands we have now. They were like twice as big as those.
Any of you guys remember the first simulcast with Elvis and the local radio stations?
No, I don't remember that actually.
No.
Yeah,
that was a bit before my time.
They wanted it to be in stereo because it was Elvis. So of course none of the TVs had it. So they did a simultaneous cast of the video via TV, and then the radio station also put it out. Now I don't know how close they were together, if they were at all.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, now that you mention that, it wasn't Elvis, but I vaguely remember there being some shows like that. And I think in Chicago they did that for a New Year's Eve special one year.
Yeah, I remember
that we had to turn the sound on the TV way down and turn the radio on for it.
I remember that those things happened. I just never saw any of them. Yeah.
That happened right before Elvis died, maybe a year, or maybe it was like the Christmas before or something like that. He died.
Okay.
It would have been what, 76? Dang, I'm old.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. I had left school the first time just before he died. So yeah, it might have been 76.
Well, that's one of my.
I would have still been a preteen then.
Well, that's one of my first clearest memories, and I was born in 73, so I must have been 3 years old. Looking at the newspaper and seeing Elvis is dead, and that's like one of my first memories.
I wasn't even born yet.
Make me feel old. Go ahead. Be my guest.
Well, the first historic event I remember is watching the moon landing on TV, because that was the day after my 5th birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. At least you got to see
and
it.
I remember all the stuff.
No. Your birthday is the 19th, right?
Yeah.
The first landing was on the 20th. My birthday.
Yeah, it was the day after my birthday, I said.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But, I remember everything was hyped with space stuff then.
Oh, and absolutely.
I remember getting the canister of Tang that had the little plastic moon rover on the lid.
Yeah. It's just too bad that everybody lost interest right after that.
Yeah, few people have even heard about the contest that happened right after the space race. After that, the U.S. and the Soviet Union had a contest to see who could bore down to the Earth's core.
Oh, I don't
That's
remember
right.
that one.
Yep.
I don't
Well,
remember that
And the
one.
Russians outdid the Americans by
yeah,
far.
that's where the Kola borehole that's over 7 miles deep came from.
Okay,
Because
then.
that was as far down as they could go, because at that depth the drill bits started melting.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the U.S. had also done one called Project Mole that they were doing underwater on a Pacific island. And unfortunately, an earthquake hit and upset the whole project, so then they never restarted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a big penis measuring contest. Oh, that whole era.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will admit that the space race was a big dick measuring contest, really. I like the one monologue that Neil deGrasse Tyson did all on that, where it was a big thing then because the two sides were building rockets that could kill each other and everything else. And
Kennedy was kind of like Elon Musk, but Kennedy actually made it happen because when he made the famous speech about putting a man on the moon, we did not have the technology to do
that's
it.
right. That's right. I'm trying to remember. I think it was in Gene Kranz's autobiography. Gene Kranz being the flight director that was on station during the first lunar lander, where he said something to the effect of, yeah, Kennedy said this and we were all taken by surprise. And it's like, we don't have any of the tech, as you said. And in 8 years, it only took 8 years to go from essentially nothing to one small step for man, one small step for a man.
Just imagine if the Cold War had not ended and we had continued that space race, we would actually literally be going outside of our galaxy by now, easily.
Possibly.
Maybe.
If you look at how quickly, like you were saying, we developed the technologies at that same rate, it would be, we wouldn't even believe what we're doing now. Would be doing now.
Yeah.
Well, it comes
We
up with a
definitely
lot of
have colonies
questions.
on like Mars and so forth.
We probably would have a colony on Mars by now, but when you get to outside the solar system, just the scales involved become
that's crazy.
Totally mind-boggling. I don't know if we'll ever get beyond that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and space is dangerous too. I mean, it's not the safest place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first time we landed on the moon and they walked on the moon and came back in, they didn't clean their spacesuits off properly. And so some moon dust started floating around in the lander.
Yeah.
And it made them sick. It made them sick.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a flu-like, quote unquote, sickness that they got. But it wasn't caused by a disease, it was caused by the moon dust.
Well,
that's one of the biggest. Actually, I think that may be the biggest thing they're worried about on Mars is simply the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something that has entered my mind, especially with the sample return mission they'd like to do. Because I'm thinking, what happens if something goes wrong bringing this stuff back and it gets into the ecosystem or gets into the room with a whole bunch of other people? What if you end up with a Andromeda strain or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I was just sitting here thinking. Yeah, what if the Andromeda strain wasn't that far-fetched?
Yeah.
You get some unknown bacteria from Mars that we've never been exposed to before, and we might be in trouble.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I don't know. Something like that might not even be compatible with us to make us sick.
Well, then you've got the other thing going with the War of the Worlds, where there
Right.
was just a tiny difference, and the invaders were killed off. But
Well, I
who
think it's
knows?
more a question of, if we brought a bacteria back, say, would it be able to survive in the Earth's atmosphere?
Yeah, that too.
However, if it did, it doesn't necessarily have to be compatible with us to be very destructive to our bodies.
Right.
Even if it's fairly short-lived, it could still shut down some of your internal organs.
Or it
Yeah,
could
that just
behave like an invasive species.
that just brought the ending scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark where everybody started to melt. Something like that happens to the scientists in that room if it got out. Yeah.
Perhaps the bigger concern is if the permafrost melts and releases all those ancient bacteria.
Yeah, that is.
Well,
an
it's
issue.
already happening. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's any deleterious consequences yet, but
They have that in a lab that I don't know why, but yeah, they have actually revived a virus from 50,000 years ago in a lab.
Well, they're trying to
I just heard
research.
about that.
They're trying to research it so it can be prepared for anything that might come from all that.
Yeah,
Is what they're
but
doing.
yeah, it is a question that if they've revived one in the lab, is there a chance of, with the ice sheets receding, of just something thawing out that's been dormant for that long, but can still manage to come back on its own?
Yes,
absolutely
there is a possibility. That's the reason why they're doing this stuff in the lab, so they can be prepared for something like that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tardigrades, they can survive a lot of stuff for a long time, which is pretty amazing.
Oh wait, are we talking about Star Trek Discovery again? God damn it! No, I've heard about tardigrades. Yeah, they can survive in space for a long time.
Well, I'm kind of wondering that when we finally get somebody up to the moon, can they find where that Israeli space probe crashed and see if the tardigrades survived?
Oh well, you got to get past the Jewish space lasers first. I mean, come on now.
Well, the thing crashed. It's not, the lasers probably broke.
Did they send some up on purpose?
Yeah. Well, the probe had contained something like some cotton seeds and some tardigrades, just because it was going to monitor how long they could survive up there. And it's like they had survived the flight. They were still alive like a couple hours before it crashed into the moon.
Oh well, thanks, Dad. Thanks for just crashing. We came all this way.
Don't shut up! I'm going to drive this probe right into the moon.
Oh. Well, I want to see a or did you already say this? Just now, I don't know. I want to see a reconnaissance flight sent to the moon, and they discover Alice Cramden.
To the moon. Oh, that show wasn't sexist at all. That's a great show. Slow clap.
Gen Z will never ever understand that joke, ever.
That's true.
Oh well, they will never ever watch a Looney Tunes cartoon where Elmer Fudd shoots Daffy Duck in the face and his beaks and and he's it's fun.
Did you hear them? They tried. Did you hear they tried to replace Elmer Fudd's gun with a scythe?
With a what?
A scythe, like a Grim Reaper scythe.
No, geez.
No, but unfortunately, I did see part of the ET after they edited it
to
make it look like all the Secret Service agents had walkie-talkies instead of guns.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Oh, what?
I remember when the Christians tried to ban Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner because of the violence.
Oh, for that. Yeah.
Well, actually, Donald Duck has been banned in a couple of countries for not wearing pants.
Yeah, I heard that.
I thought it would have been for the Nazi propaganda.
And the damn thing about the Roadrunner and the Coyote, everybody was complaining about the violence and the kids were going to pick it up and everything. I'm 4 years old, and I knew that was a total fiction. I knew that you just don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, strapping yourself to a rocket and then lighting it. Yeah, you're not going to have a good time. No.
Right.
Well, okay, it was total fiction then. Kids could imitate it now because they just got the name wrong. It's not Acme, it's Amazon.
Okay.
Fair. That's a fair statement.
You can probably have an anvil and a rocket delivered overnight.
Oh. Well, I mean, I was watching a YouTube video of stupid people doing stupid things, and this one guy took a bottle rocket and stuck it up his butt.
Why?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and he burned himself so bad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
Don't
what
clinch.
happens. This is
Yeah,
what
don't-
happens when you drink too much before you start playing with the fireworks.
Exactly. Just don't clinch, man. It'll be fine.
The Andromeda Strain was a great movie, although it was really one of the first movies that proved that Michael Crichton's actually a pretty good writer, but can't write an ending to save his life. All of his endings are always really like anticlimactic for what the big story was.
Oh yeah, during the whole story, the strain is trying to get out of the lab, and it manages to get out of the lab. But once it gets out of the lab, it mutates and becomes inert. I was like, what the hell?
That apparently didn't it before they got in the lab. It destroyed an entire town. Everybody was dead. But then once it got over the lab, it just floated out to sea and got destroyed by the salt water.
Yeah, it's about as bad as J.J. Abrams or J.J. He can't finish anything. I feel sorry for his wife, Abrams.
Or it's like that movie Signs. It was good all the way up till the end. Oh, they're allergic to water. Gee, let's go to a planet that's like 75% water.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's genius.
That was dumb.
Yeah, that ending was just crap. I mean, I liked the movie up until they started throwing the water on them and killed them. I was like,
what?
And if they knew that they couldn't handle water and they were coming to a planet covered in water, why weren't they wearing some kind of spacesuit to protect themselves from the atmosphere in case they got caught out in the rain?
Exactly.
And we do have a thing called humidity in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. They land somewhere where there's like 100% humidity and they just start to melt. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think M. Night got a damn letter from Mel Gibson saying, I want to be in a movie of yours. And he's like, okay, let me write some shit real quick. And yeah, that's what he kept on.
I think the only thing I've really seen of his that I've liked was The Sixth Sense. That I actually thought should have had a sequel done in years later. Of when the kid grew up.
Oh yeah, and I still see dead people. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of don't have to even get the same. You can't get enough to get the same name actor to play the role. Just get somebody at least fits the part, and just show how his life has been, and since he's come to terms with the fact that you can see dead people.
Well, I like the Sixth Sense, and I liked Unbreakable, that Bruce Willis flick.
No, yeah, Unbreakable was okay. Yeah, I haven't seen. I haven't seen the sequel to that Glass.
Oh no, the sequel is actually what's the It's got James McAvoy in it, and he's got multiple personalities.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sequel either. I saw the original one.
Shit, it's a one-word title, but I can't think of it. It's not Splintered. That's a different movie, but it's something like that. And then Glass is the third one.
Oh, okay.
Like a trilogy. Yeah.
I missed one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize there were 3 either. I thought it was just the 2.
No, it's
Split.
Gesundheit.
Split.
Right?
There you go. That's the
Thank you.
because he's got all the split personalities, and he's trying to unleash the beast, which is his last personality.
I thought it would make an interesting comic book to have a character with split personalities that was both the hero and the villain.
Basically Moon Knight then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't follow the DC stuff much at all. I really only know Marvel characters.
So interestingly enough, my mom actually had personality dissociation disorder, or multiple personalities.
Right.
She had 7 of them.
Oh my! This who's the famous one? The 7 Faces of Eve.
Yeah, well, and then there was Sybil, who had like 16 personalities.
Yeah, I always would get the 2 of them confused. As I attended a talk given by one of them, I think, who was the one that had a personality called the Purple Lady?
Yeah, I don't really remember. It's been so many years.
Because that's
that's
the talk I attended at a Mensa meeting.
My wife actually did a long time ago. She had some trauma and she was able to work through it, and basically it's not an issue for her anymore. However, there are in some ways remnants, like her moods can be so drastic that it does kind of seem like other people.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting, but she does not have distinct personalities anymore. However, she did at one time. This was probably 20 years ago or whatever. But yeah, I make fun of her because sometimes, like, particularly when she gets really ornery, it is like, wow, am I talking to the same damn person?
My late fiance had multiple personalities. By the time I met her, it had been pretty well treated and was under control. But the really weird thing was that, I made my living doing home repairs. And one of her other personalities had my dead name and was known for repairing things.
Okay.
But she would have problems with that, with things like someone else would drive home so she wouldn't know where they'd parked the car last night.
Oh, I've heard of that sort of thing happening.
One of my mom's personalities was a little girl. And one of them was a guy. In fact, the guy was actually the most interesting thing, I think, because when she switched that personality, she didn't seem to have diabetes.
Oh,
that was really weird because her blood sugar remained stable when she was in that personality, and she was able to tell that because she was able to take a look at the blood tests that that personality did and corresponded with how she kept track of which personality was when, and she could actually see the record on the machine.
Isn't that interesting how that correlates with what Purple and I were talking about earlier with how the mind and the gut are related?
Yeah.
Profound that can be.
And we cannot figure out how that was even possible because it was a physical deformity with her, the organ that produces sugar. That was the reason why she had diabetes in the first place.
Right, but I don't doubt you one bit either, by any means.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been a fascinating thing to study if they could.
Yeah, it would have been.
Figure out what was causing her to flip back and forth.
Well, the the thing with mental thing was just a different
Yeah.
triggers with
No, but I mean that when the mental thing happened, what was causing the change in her, her hormones or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Honey, will you knock it off?
Diana, somebody needs to get laid.
I think that usually applies to most of the people on my panel, but
I know it was me.
Well, this time it's the kitten.
well, yeah, Diana, Jenny, and I have all been way too long without it.
Oh God, I think the last time I got laid was what? Maybe 2009, 2010.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say something similar. It's been like 5 or 6 years for me. But I was taking a break, and then it turned into like a drought. So,
Yeah.
Well,
and the darn thing though is I really don't miss it that much anymore.
Oh, me either. And I save a lot of money too.
Well,
there you go.
My fiance died in 2014, and just because of the places I was living, I couldn't do anything while I was living in Michigan because just that town. And then as soon as we moved, they started lockdowns for the pandemic. So I really haven't had a chance to meet anyone, even though we've been living here almost 3 years. I don't know anyone in the city yet.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Oh, that's the same for me. When I started the lockdowns, I just sat in the house. I talked to people on YouTube. I haven't been out to mingle with the masses, and so the scene's probably totally changed from what I remember.
Well, yeah, it has changed because I'm just through the internet in contact with some groups I'm aware of around here. And yeah, just the rules for people meeting have changed a lot because of COVID, and because, well, especially because half of the people are very serious about not sharing diseases, and half of the people still think it was all a hoax.
Yeah.
Guess which half?
Well, and that's the thing that I haven't really wanted to go to any gatherings for that group, because I know there's too many people in there who never took it seriously in the first place. And I've had COVID once. I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's time for me to go on a tangent. I was in the U.S. military for 4 years. I'm very, very proud of my military service. I am actually proud to be an American, but I am by no means a nationalist. But the one thing that really pisses me off in the last year is I started noticing that whenever I saw an American flag in somebody's house, in front of someone's house, I immediately frowned on them, because there was always a Trump or some kind of gun rights or some kind of thing. Yeah. And now whenever I see the American flag out in someone's house, I don't see a patriot. I see a nationalist, conservative freaking wacko. And so now I don't want to fly my flag in front of my house anymore like I did, because I'm afraid they're going to take me as being a freak. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Actually, I was just in a discussion about that on Twitter today. The same kind of thing, that it pisses me off that anytime I see an American flag now, I have a negative reaction to it because I assume it's one of those MAGA idiots.
Yeah,
right. And I used to fly a flag out in front of my house, but now I will not do it because I literally have a very negative outlook when I see that, and I know exactly what kind of people I'm dealing with, like evangelical wackos, Yeah. And so they have literally stolen the American flag from this country. It's a sign of nationalist now, not a patriot.
Yeah.
Tangent done. Thank you.
Those people don't really understand what being a patriot means. And, I keep having to clarify that I believe in being a patriot, but I believe in it the way that Thomas Jefferson defined it.
Okay.
I will defend my country even if I must oppose the government to do so.
Yeah.
You know, that it is about, defending what the Constitution actually says and the spirit of it.
Oh my. Yeah, but there's what really gets to me. The word you just said. Anytime I hear the word Constitution come out of somebody's mouth, I get the bad reaction.
Yeah. Well, especially if they say Second Amendment, because I will guarantee you they've never read it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I will tell you this, and kudos to us. You're going to be hard pressed to find an autistic person that is actually a nationalist. You might find a lot of patriots, but I don't know one. I've never met one that was a nationalist.
Well, I don't know that I've ever met one, but, anybody who's, speaking the nationalist points, I'm sure that I haven't talked to long enough to find out if they could have been on the spectrum or not.
I'm sure there's some out there, but like I said, you're going to be hard pressed to find it. It's just not how we're wired. We're rebels.
Yep.
Actually, it's just our sense of independence because we don't mesh with society, so we don't fall into groupthink like a lot of people do.
I think it's just because, being autistic, you have to consciously think about a lot of things that everyone else does subconsciously.
Yes, absolutely.
I do credit the autism with saving me from the church. That I'm pretty sure it's the reason that the Catholic Church indoctrination never took.
I'm exactly.
It's one of the arguments I've made to these anti-vaxxer people that, given the choice, I'd much rather be autistic than Catholic.
No matter how indoctrinated I was, I don't think it is possible that I could have remained brainwashed by religion, just like you're saying, because of the way we have to stop and analyze everything, because what comes natural to other people doesn't. So we have to stop and think about that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, if I can ask that,
it's a much more conscious level of processing everything that happens around you.
If I can ask Dave, which branch of the military were you in? Because I was in the Army.
Corpsman. I was a hospital corpsman in the Navy. My wife was actually a Marine.
I think you've told me that before.
I know he's talked about it in another chat, so you may.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it.
My grandfather was in the Navy as well. In fact, he actually lied about his age to get in.
My brother joined the Navy at 16 because it was the only way he could drop out of high school and get away from my dad.
Fair enough.
Next week, I'm going to try to bring my wife on. Tonight, she's having a migraine, and I don't think she would have been into it.
Yeah,
but I told her, I was like, you got to meet my people.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I found out that spicy food can help with headaches.
I'm sorry, what can help?
Spicy food.
Oh.
Any particular kind of headaches it helps with, or?
I think migraines is specifically mentioned.
Okay, well, I normally don't do well with spicy food, but I'd be willing to try it if it helps.
Because unfortunately, I have been subject to extreme headaches lately, and I may have to try the spicy food thing.
Yeah.
Well, yours might be from the whole issue with the neck you've been dealing with.
Yeah, it might be. It might or might not. That's what I don't know. So if I tried the...
Obviously, I have had no medical training, Diana, but just watching you, I would have to think that yours probably have a lot to do with like a pinched nerve in your neck or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much.
It just seems that usually the neck starts first and then you get the severe headaches.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how much that would help.
Yeah, well, the headaches I speak of are qualitatively different to the neck pain when I experience it, but you never know. They may share a root cause.
Well, just don't go full on jalapeno. I'm just saying, start out slow.
Oh, you know what? They do share a root cause. My birth. No, huh?
Yeah, well, my problem is spicy food tends to trigger the acid reflux, and that doesn't do me a lot of good. But If it would deal with the migraines that hang on for 3 days, that would be a trade I'd be willing to make.
Well, then again, if it doesn't work, then you'll be with acid reflux and a migraine.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of stuff over the years of, trying trading one disorder for another like that. It's usually what I wind up with when I've got a sinus infection, because it's like that. Since they took the pseudoephedrine, made that really hard to get now. The stuff that they substituted in all the cold medicines is the phenylphedrine, and that always triggers the migraines.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, now we're getting a bunch of once a Marine, always a Marine. Once you're in the military, you're always whatever branch of the military. Like I was in the Army, so I'm always a grunt. Dave was in the Navy, so he's always a seaman.
Well,
Nope, I'm always a Marine. No, I'm not
Well,
kidding.
that's on you, man. I mean,
No, it's just because I was a hospital corpsman. I was never in the Navy really, except for boot camp and my first school.
Yeah. I respect all you people who have done that, but I am sure that I could never get through boot camp.
Yeah, I mean, if you made it through boot, yeah, you're a seaman.
He definitely doesn't look very tadpole shaped.
Well, when my brother was in the Navy, he was on an LPD, which are basically the floating troop carriers. So as he put it, their job was to throw the Marines on the beach and get the fuck out of there before anyone could shoot at them.
Right. Well, see, I joined the Army because I figured I'd have my boots on the ground all the time. No. Because I don't like flying and I don't like being on the ocean. But, both of those things happen. So
I actually credit boot camp with, I went in when I was 17.
Mhm.
I credit boot camp with helping me to deal with how to deal with life and so forth as an autistic person. I learned that I could push my body beyond what I thought I could, that I could do things that I didn't know that I could, and so forth. And I think that really helped me with the whole masking thing and being able to cope with society.
Well, my problem is with the just following orders part that,
Yeah.
I really can't do anything if somebody doesn't give me a good reason for it.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, just being told to do things because I'm in charge without letting me know why I'm doing it wasn't going to work.
Well, for me, that was beat into me from about 4. So
well, see, that was the problem I had growing up, that being the youngest in a house with a dozen people, I knew that whatever I was told to do, if I did it, I would have at least 3 people telling me I was doing it all wrong. So most of the time, it wasn't even worth trying because I was just going to get chewed out for fucking it up.
Right.
Okay, then.
Well, that's the thing about boot camp. When you're in boot camp, you do everything wrong. And they will tell you were doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't polish your boots shiny enough. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Well,
and my parents
really
prepared me for that.
It really was a very strange thing for me that, the best time in my life was with my late fiance, which I went into as a BDSM relationship. And it's like, it makes a difference if you get to start with a contract and you get to choose who the authority is.
Okay. Know nothing about that.
Well, it's like, anybody who knew me would not have believed I could have been in that kind of relationship.
Yeah, I don't think anybody suspects on my part. Well, okay, let's just say they would never suspect my wife.
So what, we got 50 Shades of what the fuck going on here?
Well, with my fiance, there really wasn't any question about her part in it. She just projected that she was going to walk in a room and she was going to take charge of everything. And it's like the one time I brought her back to meet my family, I think they were just so relieved that it was somebody of the right gender that they didn't dare to ask any more questions.
No one
But
would
she
ever,
was
ever
also
suspect.
she was also the first one who took the idea of me transitioning seriously. And yeah, if I could have had access to the doctors in New York, I would have started it when I was with her. Okay, I have to hang up my headset for a couple minutes here, so you people keep things going.
Yeah, we can give it a try.
Okay, we can start trouble.
Well, I will be listening. I will be going to the speakers, although that also means that Sammy will be hearing Sylvia now.
Drive the cat. Well, I got myself Surviving Mars game. I got it while the Black Friday deals was going on, so I got it for like $750.
Oh, you got the game. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't installed it yet, but I bought it.
I find it to be a reason. Like, say again.
Isn't that like a survival game?
It's more of a
it's
SimCity style game.
It's The Sims in space.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
You're creating a Mars colony.
Interesting.
Yeah, I finally got it to work right. I had to play with the settings here, and I finally got it to quit crashing.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the new Sons of the Forest and Manor Lords to come out.
I think the other one I got was The Witcher.
Is that going to be real heavy on graphics cards?
It might be.
Which one?
The Witcher.
Oh, okay.
They used the previous one for benchmarks because it was so heavy on games or graphics cards. I think it's Witcher 3 or something.
Would have liked to get in a few more that were on sale during the Black Friday deal, but I need to also make sure I had enough money for food.
No, who needs food?
That is helpful.
Yeah.
What were you looking at?
The stuff I was looking at?
Yeah.
I can't remember quite what the names of them right off the top of my head, but there were just some that were like really low prices, like $1, $2 at the time.
Well, I can spend $2.
Definitely looking. Go ahead.
No, you finish. I was going to make a joke.
Looking forward to Sons of the Forest, which is a sequel to The Forest. I know I got like 3,000 hours on The Forest.
Yeah, I can spend $2 on this pot pie, or I can spend $2 on this game.
Yeah, basically is the idea.
Yeah, the pot pie is more nourishing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I spent so many hours playing video games growing up, and then I got sucked into the whole MMO RPG thing of EverQuest and World of Warcraft, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I could be out doing better shit. I really could.
Yeah, that's I've avoided getting involved in any of those, multiplayer online games because I know I could easily get obsessed with that kind of stuff and lose weeks.
No, I do. Real easy.
Oh yeah, when I switched from EverQuest to World of Warcraft and started playing it, like I'd go to work and come home, and immediately I'd like eat a sandwich or something, and then start playing World of Warcraft. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? There's more to life than this. There really is. Yeah,
I prefer to go with like turn-based games. it kind of puts a time limit on me that I take a turn and then I have to walk away and wait for the other player to take their turn.
Okay.
Well, I usually like to play single player stuff.
Yeah, well, like I've been playing Axis and Allies on the computer, but the AI really sucks. It does too many stupid things, so it's too easy to beat.
I was very, very huge into EVE Online. In fact, I ended up getting 6 monitors for EVE Online.
Holy
6
shit.
monitors.
Wow.
How did you drive them?
Well, right now I've got a 360 Ti, which my main 4K monitor is on, and then I've got another monitor on it, and then the other what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do I? Oh, I got 7 now. The others are on my 1060, and I don't care because so I'm running 2 different cards, but I'm not running them together. I'm running 1 or 2 monitors on one, and then the rest on the 1060, and that's mostly for text and stuff like that, for going to outside websites for doing calculations or whatever else I'm doing.
Oh, wow. Now I'm driving 2 monitors. I could probably drive 3 if I wanted to, but I don't know how I would go farther than that.
What kind of graphics card do you have?
I'm trying to remember what I got. It was a I can't remember what kind of graphics card it was, and I don't have the. It's not the NVIDIA. It's the other major company.
Oh, I don't know if Voodoo is still around, but I had a Voodoo card that I played EverQuest and World of Warcraft on, and that thing was as long as my forearm and probably just as thick.
Oh my!
Huh?
It was.
That's
huge.
what she said.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I may or may not have heard that a couple of times in my life, but fair enough.
I'm waiting for AMD's new card to come out, which is supposed to be the same thing as the 4090, at least really close to it. It's the, what do they call it, 7600 series or something like that.
I think AMD might have bought the Voodoo company. Yeah. So I think that. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, it's actually an NVIDIA, is what I'm thinking.
Oh, what?
And then AMD is one of the side companies that, like MSI. MSI is a really good company, but they're not a main company that actually builds the cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got my new system up and running, but I haven't got the software on it yet. But that was one of the big upgrades I was looking forward to, as I specifically was checking with people to make sure I had a system that was going to be able to support multiple monitors. This one should be able to handle 3 at a time. So now I just have to figure out the the physical rigging of how I'm going to mount these monitors to my shelving unit.
Well, there's
Easy
the problem
boy.
I have. Where I'd want 3 monitors, I wouldn't have a place to put number 3. Well, you know what it looks like in here, Purple.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm basically at this point, my concept is that I can put one above the main one at an angle down, and then I can put one off to the right side, but the one on the right side is going to have to be on a hinged mount, so I can, basically it is going to wind up being a door that's going to be covering up part of the shelving unit.
Okay.
It's kind of fun with my main three monitors. They're sitting all side by side, and on some games I will stretch out my game so that I'm actually seeing it on 3 monitors. So it's almost like I've got a 160 degree view. And for some games, like in oh gosh, what's the game called? The ship game. Where is it? Well, anyway, naval action. In naval action, I can see basically all around me, and it makes a big difference in gameplay, actually.
Well, I can see for a lot of those combat games that you know, basically having a wider peripheral vision could make a big difference on people coming up on you.
Exactly. And naval action, you know, you've got basically tall ships and so forth all floating around. You may have 6 or 8 all in one battle, and it makes a big difference because it's harder for them to sneak up on you.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, there are some of the, you know, the World War II naval stuff is something I'm really into. I'm really tempted to try that World of Warships game, but you know, I also wonder about all these that how far can you get playing for free, or do you have to buy a lot of extra in-game stuff to really be able to advance anywhere?
I really do enjoy naval action. It's a good game.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a pretty amazing game, and you really don't have that much to invest in it. If anything, you don't have to invest anything in it.
Well, it's the same reason that I always avoided those collectible card games. That I could see that the winner was going to be whoever could afford to put the most money into it, and that would never be me.
Well, that's not always the case.
This is a poo-poo. I am starting to have a problem eating soup. It leaks out my nose now.
Oh.
What kind of soup?
I boiled the turkey carcass into soup.
Oh, okay. So it's like turkey noodle soup, or no noodles, just turkey.
I hadn't made any noodles yet, so no, I've been eating it just the way it is, or drinking it actually. But that's the first time I've been having a consistent problem with eating it because it's been leaking out my nose. And it's like, okay, what the hell? And then there's this cat. Hey, there, I can make a soup from the cat.
So are you folks familiar with the First Amendment auditors, what that whole thing's about?
Yeah,
and the First Amendment which?
Auditors, basically where people get video cameras, go in public places.
Right,
I mentioned, I'm going large on my first one. I am going large. I'm 45 minutes away from Focus on the Family.
Yep.
I'm going to go Sunday at their
something
main
that you're
entrance.
going to be having a problem with is that there are so many guys who have done it all wrong and try to get drama going.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really going in that direction. I'm just going to see what they do. If I go to Focus on the Family, they call it New Life Church on the sidewalk there. I guarantee you they'll probably have 3,000 or 4,000 people going in there just for that service or whatever. I guarantee you somebody's going to get pissed off and call the cops. So it's just going to see what it's going to be down to if the Colorado Springs police obey the law or not.
No, yeah, and I think it really is a valuable thing if people are doing it correctly, you know, and just like trying to film at a distance and not involve themselves in the middle of the scene.
Right.
And as long as you don't set foot on their property, you stay on the sidewalk, there's nothing really they can do about it.
And I have a little bit different motivation. I was a peace officer for 15 years, and I saw a lot of really bad crap. They did try to coerce me into writing false reports and so forth. They didn't succeed. And that pissed me off even more. I think being autistic is a huge part of that. Like I told my attorney, my ACLU attorney, if I literally told him, I said, if you told me it was going to be $1 million lawsuit and I was not going to be a penny, I was not going to get a penny, I would not give a shit.
Yeah.
I really
I'm glad that you got somebody from the ACLU to help you with that.
It's pure principle for me.
Right.
And so I actually want to teach cops because I've been on both sides. You know, I've been victimized as an autistic person, and I've also been a peace officer, and I'm going into these audits, you know, and so I would love to teach them to do the right thing. So I would love to put the auditors out of business. That's my goal.
Okay, yeah. The problem I see is not everybody, but I think a lot of the officers approach the job because they like that feeling of being in control. They like that feeling of running the show. And I don't know
75
that you're going to be able to change them very much.
Oh no, you can't. It'll never happen. It will never ever happen. However, you can put them on notice, and you can basically make the police departments shove it in their face so bad that they get so terrified of getting fired that they do back off. That was the one thing that I found in Department of Correction is that about 90% were there for power and control. And it is a power and control thing. That's why defunding the police and all that stuff will, like you were saying, Diana, it will never, ever change. The worst thing that I ever heard as an officer, the thing that scared me the most was, I always wanted to be a cop.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was what terrified me the most. Now, some of those people had aunts, uncles, or were generational people and had the right motives, but most of them, if they said I always wanted to be a cop, I stayed the hell away from them because I didn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to be. Go ahead, Diana.
I would wish that job would be one that you would have to be dragged into, kicking and screaming. I don't want to be a cop. I don't want to be a cop. You have to. You know, one of those.
Like Thomas Jefferson, he always said that you should be a reluctant politician, that you should only basically do it because you were forced to by the people around you. When I joined Department of Corrections, I was living in Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio. My first wife and I moved back to my hometown, which is Canyon City, Colorado. And I put in for every job available. I'm talking Taco Bell and the local gas station. And it was Department of Corrections that offered me a job first. And so I went ahead and took it. And then within about 2-3 years, I had ended up starting a family. And once I did that, it was a good income and a steady income. And that's why I stayed in for 15 years. But that was the only reason. I didn't want to go into corrections. It just, that was the job I was offered. And then, you know, when you're offered a job and you're getting $35,000 a year to start out, you know, it's like, okay. And this was the 90s, you know, the 90s. So, and good insurance at the time, you could, it was like $10 a month. I'm not kidding you. $10 a month for Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Nice.
And no deductibles. That changed really fast. Don't get me wrong. It changed really fast. But so it was, I kind of put myself in a position that I couldn't leave. But I absolutely agree with you. I think that the people who want to be cops scare me the most. And like I said, there's some good people that wanted to be cops, maybe for family reasons or whatever else. But for the most part, those people are really dangerous.
Yeah.
I actually, I made a autism card, a personalized autism card. I got it on my Facebook site. The one thing that killed me is they make some of these cards for people to give to police and so forth. And what I saw on them was, it said, I may act erratically, I may act unpredictably, I may be defensive. And I was like, holy shit, you know what you people are doing? You're literally telling the police that you are going to be combative.
Yeah.
Which gives them an excuse to be combative. So I made my own with basically mentioning you may have certain responsibilities for as far as civil rights and so forth. And I did the opposite. I made it I basically put them on notice that there could be certain legal ramifications if they were to be abusive.
That sounds like a better idea.
It sounds like a much more solid approach. Otherwise,
So
you're basically just giving them, you know, an excuse for anything they do, and there's no way they could be held liable for anything.
Right.
Mhm.
And so the entire card is saying, yes, I'm going to be sensitive to light. I may be sensitive to light, loud sounds and so forth. I may be, I didn't say disoriented. But I made it so that I mentioned the Civil Liberties Union and the what is the American with Disabilities Act.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of this stuff was basically to put in the mind of these police that there could be legal ramifications for whatever happens. And so when, you see in these audits where they don't want to give the ID, that will be the ID that I will hand them. This card.
Okay, then.
And the reason for that is it's once again to put them on notice. If it goes to trial, it's going to look way better that they for me that they were picking on the autistic guy. So I'm actually, for the first time in my life, weaponizing my autism.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I've had to put up with people discriminating and against me and everything else. If I put it out there very, very clear to the police officers that are involved that I'm autistic, like I said, once it gets to trial, it's going to make them look that much worse.
Yeah.
And in trial, you want to be light. And that's why you also don't want to be real aggressive like a lot of these auditors are, calling them pigs and, all these different things like that. No, you want to be a nice guy, because if you're nice, they will like you at trial. It's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with being nice.
Oh, I'm going to quote Roadhouse right now. Be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, how do we know when it's time to not be nice? I'll let you know when it's time to not be nice.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I've also had to, for my camera, I just built a huge cage for my camera, because I've noticed, I've been watching a lot of different auditors and what happens, and people, including cops, they love to grab that camera and throw it to the ground. So I built a cage around it.
Okay.
So that when it does get thrown, that they can't touch the camera real easy, and they can't basically break it as easy.
Mhm.
And then I put a string around it to hang around my neck to make it that much harder to throw it to the ground. But I'm not actually going to do this for about another 6 months. I'm going to wait till spring. But in the meantime, just study up and make sure I know the law and, all that kind of crap.
Moo.
Hey, Doc.
Greetings and salutations.
How are you doing?
Hey, honey, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Uh-oh, robot.
Well, yeah, but that's Doc. Yeah, sorry, Doc, we lost your sound.
This keeps happening tonight. It's the second person today.
Yep.
Oh, my.
Doc is broadcasting from the dark side of the moon.
I'm debating whether I should spend the 1050 on this Fable game that's 70% off right now.
Am I still roboting?
We can hear you now.
That's good.
Yeah, that's better.
Better now? Okay. You all sound great to me, but...
Actually, Doc, I was thinking we might have a chance to meet.
Oh, yeah?
I'm considering driving down to St. Louis for the New Year's bash that Savage Minnow's putting on, which would basically mean me driving end to end through Iowa.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to go down with me, I could pick you up and bring you down there.
Yeah, I don't.
You could get that weekend off of work, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get weekends off.
Especially not a holiday weekend. I didn't expect.
Yeah. unfortunately. Yeah, the getting time off of work deal is kind of the thing. I need to move the fuck out of this town, and
Yep.
I can't move because I can't find a replacement, and I won't leave my coworkers high and dry without anybody to cover the overnight. So here I am.
There's nobody that you can con into a promotion, huh?
Nope. No, nobody's applying for it.
Your job as a promotion?
Now that's the big problem too. Nobody thinks of the night shift as any sort of promotion.
Yeah.
And most humans are not suited for the job like I am, so.
Well, that's like my sister. She's a nurse, and she works nights and weekends and holidays because it pays more. So.
Yep.
And she tried to go from night shift to day shift and couldn't do it. She was like, I'm so used to working at night that I just can't do it.
Whatever shift you're used to, it is so hard to change. It is so hard. It takes me 2 weeks to adjust.
Yeah. I could never understand the companies that wanted people to do a swing shift, that they thought it was going to be fair to everyone if they rotated, so every month somebody else had to take the night shift. And it's like, no, all you're going to do is make sure that none of your employees are ever fully awake.
They don't think of that.
When I worked at Casey's, I was like scheduled a different time to start every day. It was like around the same time, but I would sometimes go in at 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, sometimes back to 3, and it's flip-flopping all around. I finally told my boss, I'm like, is there any sane reason to just flip-flop me around like this? Can I just come in the same time every day? Well, you are supposed to be flexible, but I can have you come in at the same time. It's no big deal, because there was no reason. It was just you're supposed to be flexible, so I get to make up times for you to come in, and that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it could be some, control tactic they were teaching the managers.
I think my manager at the time was really just trying to manage the hours.
Oh, I see what that is.
Because the district manager would come in every fucking week and say, okay, you now have 20 less hours to work with. And you have to make that work. And she didn't have enough people to fill the fucking hours. So she would have to finagle things all the time.
Yep.
Oh, you just clicked off a memory in my head. My dad.
Well, it's been a long time since I played with one of those.
Yeah,
I saw one of these.
One of those.
I saw this, and I the childhood memories came back, and I just had to have it. It's one of my favorite fidgets.
Well, especially.
Oh, well, those things. I used to have one of those.
Doc, with what you were saying, when I was young.
Like that, it's like that ping pong paddle thing that had the rubber band on it. And
I remember that thing. Paddle ball.
I could never get one of those to go right.
I always broke them.
How many kids punch themselves in the eye with that?
Lots.
The funny thing is they sell this with the retro packaging too.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So cool. But with what you're saying, Doc, when I was young, I had kids, and I took night shift and then swing shift for years because my wife was working day shift, and when my children were very small, someone could always be home. If they switched my schedule every week, there's no way I could have done it. You know?
I always took third shift because I will do absolutely anything to avoid having to get up in the morning.
Well, it's lucky I don't have a life, because what happens often is it's hard to get people to work my nights off for me. So they'll call in or whatever because they're just not able to do it. So I'm always available to work. So it helps them that I don't have a life. I don't make any plans anyway, so nothing to interrupt.
Well, it was also something I found to be a huge advantage in not being Christian. I never cared about having off the holidays everybody else wanted, so it's like I could work Christmas Day and, get paid the double time for it and all that.
Oh, I volunteer for holidays and fully expect to work them each and every one. So.
Yep.
Well, my dad worked for DuPont for years and years and years. And when I was young, he worked swing shift. And man, oh man, you want to talk about disturbing a hornet's nest if you woke him up. He had a sign on the door that said, "This is a day sleeper's house. Do not disturb. So don't come knocking."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually, Soft Girl and I had been discussing that with our building, they really should just dedicate one wing to the people who work night shift so that people aren't moving through there during the day while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I put aluminum foil in my windows in my bedroom. It blocked out all the light.
My bedroom has the blinds, and then I have a double layer of a very dark green flannel over it, which is, not just hanging there, but it's clamped to the windowsill all the way around, so there aren't any cracks through it.
Right.
And it's like, high noon is still darker than twilight.
I find the thick bed sheet along with the curtain works pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you can go into my bedroom absolutely any time of the day, and it will be completely dark in there.
In the fascist prison I live in, if I put anything on my windows but a curtain, I will get spoken to by the manager.
Oh, that's rough.
This fucking place, it's in the lease. You cannot practice playing musical instruments. You cannot practice singing. They might as well put in the lease, you are not allowed to experience any joy.
Really?
It is a miserable, it's a fine building to live in, but it is just fucking miserable. There's too many fucking rules, too many people fucking making decisions for how you live your life, and too fucking many stalkers. Too many goddamn people so goddamn interested in what you're doing.
See, that's why I live
bullshit.
out here. Well, this is why I like living out here where I do now. It's been like almost 20 years. I live in the middle of nowhere. Nobody bothers me. I've got my property posted no trespass. So if you come here fucking up, yeah.
I wish I could afford that.
Yeah, well.
I'd live out in the country if I could.
Yeah. Well, it took some doing to get it right. So, but I live like I'm surrounded. Well, I'm surrounded by cow pastures, and the only thing that disturbs me is if the cows start going off. Like there's a bull in one field and a bull in another field, and they start. It's not a moo. It's like a howl. It's like a cow howl. Yeah. And they'll go back and forth, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm trying to sleep.
It's another reason I felt lucky with this building that the manager seemed to be quite nice and, not too uppity about things.
Well, what you were telling me about her, she sounds wonderful.
Well, she is the one that I had the most anxiety about coming out about transitioning to. Just because, if she turned out to be like some kind of a turf, she could have made things very unpleasant for me. But she's taken it all well, and I think if anything, I think that she is interested, but is afraid of asking questions because she thinks she'll offend me.
Oh well,
I'm kind of laughing because I think Diana was one of the first trans people that I really got to know or talk to, and oh my goodness, I just hammered her with questions.
Well, Diana is definitely one of the most open ones I've ever met.
You remember that, Diana?
I most certainly do. Thank you for that.
Well,
And-
if it wasn't for Diana and Jenny, I wouldn't be able to do it now.
Well, do any of y'all know Bubble Brew?
What was that, Rex?
Do any of y'all know Bubble Brew? I've
Oh yeah.
Okay. She's one of the first people that I found out was transitioning. So
Yeah, she came out just a couple months after I did.
yeah, and we had always got along.
Hmm.
We talked about disgusted blood things, and you know.
Well,
Yeah,
I will
well,
tell you
that's-
this.
I've had some private conversations with her too, just because, you know, like I say, we're only a couple months apart and going through a lot of the same experiences here.
Right.
I will tell you this. though.
Jenny came out a long time ago. It's just that she went public with it only recently. Or I mean, she
Right.
transitioned a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think one of the most terrifying things that has ever happened to me is when I heard Ed one time. I don't ever want to hear that again.
Oh, yes.
Who, what, where, when?
When I heard Ed one time.
Are you speaking of when I would drop my voice into my normal range?
Yep.
Oh, yes, that terrified me. I was like, that's not Diana. Come back.
You're talking about this sort of thing, right?
Yo, this here, yo.
It killed me. I was like, oh my God.
How low can you go?
Yeah, I used to sing contrabass when I was actually singing on stages, and I actually missed that a little bit, but not enough to detransition.
Right.
Right.
I also find it amusing that as I've been coming out to people, one of the most common reactions I've gotten is not surprised,
Yeah.
including one of my own sisters.
That's funny because for all my life, even when I was young, I had some gay friends and stuff, and they were definitely they told me straight up, they're like, yeah, you're setting off my gaydar. And I was like, what? You're crazy. Yeah, now I'm pan.
Well,
I know I'm pan.
my ex's best friend, when he came out as gay, my ex and his own sister had the same reaction. They both said, "You didn't know?" Basically, every woman he knew had figured it out years before he did.
Okay.
That's what happened when I came out as autistic. All these autistic people are like, we thought you knew.
No,
Well, see,
friend
I
of
didn't know
mine-
any autistic people before, but that's really most of my life has been discovering that, oh, there's a word for that, and there's other people like me.
I just thought it was very odd that I realized that I was like part of this group where there's so many autistic people. You know, like everybody in this group is either a combination, either autistic, queer, or transgender, or some kind of combination of the above, you know?
Yep.
And the IQ seems to be a bit above average too, I've noticed.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
I think that definitely comes with the idea that, you know, we've all grown up having to question things about ourselves. You know, so we haven't accepted anything just because that's the way people told us it was.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing is because of that, and because of the friends I have here, when I discovered I was pan or even autistic, it didn't bother me at all. It was just like, oh, you know, it just didn't bother me. I didn't care, because why should I? You know?
Yeah. Actually, when I was a teenager, people were really late. Nobody had talked to me about sex. So it wasn't so much coming out as being bi as finding out that not everybody was that way. That apparently I was expected to have chosen one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, if I could choose, I would choose to be pan or bi.
Yeah.
Why should
Well,
I
I
limit
say bi
myself?
because it's the one everybody understands right off.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
even pan I think doesn't cover it. I think mine should actually be more like omnisexual,
Okay.
You know, pretty much anything that's capable of giving consent, I'll consider it.
That's why I actually call myself Pam, because I don't care. I don't care if it's a male, female, trans person, whatever. I just don't care. You know, if I like somebody, I like somebody.
Can
I like
melons
humans.
give consent?
What's that?
Melons.
Can
I'm
melons
really
give
into
consent?
Well, actually, when I
Don't
was
worry,
at a
I've never fucked a
bisexual
melon.
conference at one time, you know, somebody had said something about, yeah, I'm bisexual because I'll do anything that moves. And I just chirped in, I'll probably give it a nudge.
I mean, it'll be moving during.
Yeah, it depends on what type of milk. Yeah, what type of milk are you talking about?
Honey, knock it off.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Well, actually, people, we're getting up close to 4 hours here tonight.
we're around that and the Thanksgiving one as well. Actually,
Yeah,
over
and-
4 hours.
And offhand, I can't really remember why, but it seems to be that Sloth Girl's expecting me to get up in the morning for some reason. So,
Oh boy.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm supposed to drive her somewhere tomorrow.
So
Well,
saying
you
we
can
should
drive
end
her
that,
crazy, right?
So you're saying we should end this, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure it's in my schedule. So, well, you know, just so we got time to do the wrap up. If anybody's got anything they want to plug.
Oh my. Well, I'm gonna be on Sunday.
You sure about that?
I'm gonna give it a darn good try.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if she's gonna be on Sunday, I'll probably be over there.
I know I missed the last 2 weeks. Not good.
Yep. If you get the big stick out and beat you with it.
Purple will tell you the bad shape I was in this past Sunday.
Well, yeah, the Sunday that I was there, we were both down sick and stayed in bed all day.
Oh boy.
Thanks for taking me through the day, though. You know, for holding the bucket while I threw up into it.
Yeah, well, I was disappointed. You know, I had kind of teased people that they would see my hands, if not my face. That since Diana was so much into the Apollo missions, I found something for where our interest intersected.
Yeah.
And I had bought a Lego set with 1,000 and some pieces to build the lunar lander.
Oh, cool.
So I was
You're
planning
gonna
on
come out
us.
here pretty soon because I'm gonna hold on to it until you're here again.
Okay, yeah, I had been planning on the two of us assembling that while we were on stream that Sunday.
Well, that sounds like fun. Well, my next garden video should be another garden tour of my garden. So
okay.
I'm still cleaning up from the hurricane, believe it or not.
Yep. Well, you know, I think it was what Doorknob Head was saying earlier about doing the pop-ups. You know, that I would like that just because, you know, like when you're giving the names of the plants, I would need the spelling to be able to look it up and find out anything more about it.
Now, are you going to show us your marijuana and Jimson weed and?
I wish I could grow that stuff. More than just the getting high reason.
Well,
yeah.
In Michigan, they made it
Knock
legal
it
to
off,
grow
Ray.
it. In Michigan, they made it legal to grow it. However, they still made it illegal to buy the seeds. So if the seeds somehow mysteriously manifest in your home without having any explanation for how they got there, it's legal to grow it.
Well, kind of like some of these invasive plants I would like to have in my yard. If they happen to show up, you know, I mean, well.
Okay, well, Tuesday evening, I am going to be on with Godless Granny.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just talking about Yule traditions.
Awesome.
I'm not sure at this point who else she's having. I think it's going to be me and Kitty on Tuesday with Granny.
You'll love it.
Yep.
Oh God, you sounded like a used car commercial.
It really
I
is
stole
about
that.
the only holiday that I really put any work into.
I stole that from the movie Scrooged.
Okay.
Another good Christmas movie.
Yep.
Yep. We had talked about that at the beginning of the show of what everybody's favorite Christmas movie was.
The Scrooge movie, is that the one with Patrick Stewart?
No, it's the one with Bill Murray.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
where
my
he's
favorite
like
Christmas
a movie,
movie.
where he's like a television studio or whatever producer.
Okay, then.
Well, my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. So you
there we go. See,
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is. We went
No,
over
it
this.
isn't.
Yes,
Oh,
it
no,
is.
it isn't.
Yes, it is.
I can prove
No.
it scientifically.
I can prove it otherwise.
Oh, no. You'll love my evidence. You'll love it.
Okay. Well,
Here's
we'll
my
wait.
evidence. I
Over
love
the
the movie.
incorrect-
No. Here's my evidence. I love the movie Die Hard, and I fucking hate Christmas. That's all the criteria you need. It's not a Christmas movie.
Sorry. I think mine's better.
Okay, well, with that, of course, I will be back here next week. We should finally be back to the Wednesday at noon shows that I missed the last 2 weeks because I was driving through Ohio both Wednesdays. And, of course, next Thursday at the same time here. So with that, we will bid you all a good night. Rest well, friends.
take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
TTFN.